Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to head in to our second series of the day as Psych and Buffalo take on a Luxury. Now, I'm joined by Quincy and Rebel. However, Rebel has informed me that I should not talk to him. So, Quincy, I'm going to throw to you because Psych and Buffalo have come off a 2-1 loss to Team Flash. That being said, they did look good.
They did look good. I mean, yeah, Team Flash just looked better than expected, I would say. Psych and Buffalo was kind of ending the or starting the new split as they ended the last one. Like they were like okay, but they were like kind of underwhelming overall, I would say, because at the best days we would expect it to be like one of the better teams, and they kind of are like middle of the pack by now, I would say. And against Luxury, who on their own right absolutely stopped versus Sky on game day one, I would even consider them to be the slight underdog here.
Okay, and Rebel, speaking about Luxury and their 2-0 domination over versus Sky, they've kept all of the momentum from winter, but I think one of the biggest things is CBL coming into this team, the only change that Luxury made. And this bot lane of Luxury looks much better than it did last split.
Yeah, it went from being what was effectively kind of just like the weak point of the map, or at least like the point of the map that didn't receive a bunch of focus most of the time for Luxury, to being one of the stronger parts of the map. Like Vit actually like just absolutely kind of stomped in the first series, especially against Amina and Elio, who were like arguably like a top three like bot lane just in general, especially because they were a top three team. I think that's a completely reasonable argument. Amina himself probably a top two ADC, at least among our voting. So like when you talk about how well those two performed in just the first series alone, that has to be at least a little bit remarkable. Is that kind of advancement? And I think that was a big part of this like week one dominance that we've seen so far from Luxury.
Now, I want to touch on the jungle matchup, and I will do this every single time I'm hosting on the VCS because a jungle matchup is really important. And these are two, I almost want to say two of the big names in the jungle. Killer Queen, absolutely fantastic for Luxury in the previous split, looking like he's continuing that momentum. And BJ, dominant in spring last year, very bad in winter last year, but now he's actually looking okay. So, Rebel, what's your thoughts on this matchup between these two junglers?
Yeah, it was a question that I had coming into the split about whether or not Killer Queen would be able to adapt to a different meta, which doesn't necessarily yield itself to a lot of like the assassin type picks that Killer Queen seemed to be really accustomed to. Didn't seem to matter at all in the first week. Had himself a couple of different Viego games that had come through, had himself a different kind of performances across the board, and was able to make them work on the Lee Sin, the Viego, whatever it was that he was playing. I think it was those two champions specifically, but it's clear that he's capable of playing a different plethora of styles. I know at the end of last season, they started to poke into the Viego and start to test the waters with him being a bit more of a carry. And it appears as though the team's been able to make that work. So they do have this like hard aggression that can come from him, but they've also got the other side, which is quite nice. I think that's really important that Killer Queen is an engine for the side of Luxury. And BJ, week one performance actually was a little bit better. I don't know about you, Quincy, but I personally thought that BJ was not really one of the weaker points, at least as it pertains to what we were seeing.
I think he was. I actually also remember that one game of Killer Queen. We Milky can just tease the topic a little bit right now because Killer Queen's winter wasn't living up to the hype that much. But he had this one absolute 1v9 game where he was winning with 3 losing lanes against BJ, where he was playing the Echo. And I think BJ, maybe at least in that series, was like the weak point of side of Psych Buffalo. Maybe one of the reasons why they did not live up to expectations in the winter split. And I gotta say, BJ needs to read the patch notes because all 3 games he played against Team Flash, I just looked it up, he went for Sterox Gage or tried to go for Sterox Gage. He went even like the Kraken Slayer Sterox Gage build on Viego, which is absolutely abstruse, I dare say. And that needs to change for today because otherwise I doubt he's up to the task.
Now, I do want to also touch on this mid lane matchup as well, because I think Froggy has been... He's a player that if he performs well for Saigon Buffalo can very easily win series, even if that's against the likes of Cerberus and Gam. But when he performs poorly, it can hinder Saigon Buffalo. Now, Saigon Buffalo, they lost their opening series yesterday against Team Flash at 2-1, and Froggy was playing against Yoshino as well. Rebel, how much of a test do you think that was for Froggy? And do you think now going up against Blaze is for Luxury that is a step up or a step down?
It's a step up. I'm going to say that outright right now. Yoshino's rise was pretty intimidating in both of the first 2 series, although the Diana pick I did think actually did quite a bit to assist in kind of the earlier stage of the game, really helped set BJ on a good path, which was nice. And then in game 3, obviously, the Vex, like I think he got 2 solo kills in the laning phase, was actually one of the only real bright points for the side of Saigon in that game number 3, right? It was game 2 that things were a little bit disastrous. The Corki wasn't looking good, but there are clearly bright points for Froggy. It's a question to me of, I still think they're trying to figure out how to use him properly because they don't really know. Like, to me, this is a team that needs to build around what Froggy's capable of. And that even includes into like the draft. It doesn't matter if you want to go for Galio, go for Vex, or go for something crazy like a Kayn mid, but you have to have a composition built around it. It feels like they've been struggling to do that ever since like effectively what was Winter. So I really hope they distill down and figure out what they want to do.
Okay, we'll come back to this mid lane matchup in a bit. I do want to touch on the top lane matchup as well, because between Husman and Coach, because at least for Saigon Buffalo, Husmed is arguably the most consistent performer on Saigon Buffalo. And Quincy, I just wanted to get your ideas on what you think Saigon Buffalo could try to pick for Husmed that could essentially perform admirably. And you're not allowed to say Akali.
I'm not allowed to say Akali, so I'm not
No.
going to say Akali. I mean, there's still other picks that he can have up his arsenal, but I mean, he played the Gwen and the Tryndamere in the first series as well, and I think any of these fighter-type champions that kind of do well into anything tanky that would maybe be played by the opposition in Coated, but Coated likes to play Graves, so maybe that would not be the best idea to go for something like the Gwen here. Maybe even because of that notion, you would maybe want to have like something like the Graves for the side of Husband himself.
Okay, and can we get our wonderful analysts' predictions up on the screen? And Quincy and Rebel, I'd like you to justify your predictions because I can't actually remember what you guys have picked. So, Rebel, do you remember yours?
I believe that I called for this to be a 2-1 for Luxury. I could be wrong about that. I need to go check it really quick, but I'm pretty sure that was what
I've got it up.
beginning of the week.
I've got it up. It's a 2-1 to Saigon Buffalo. You put
That's
up.
fair.
Do you want to change that?
I knew it was a 2-1 back and forth between the two. No, I don't like changing my predictions as the week goes on. I don't think that's fair. It's the same reason why when I found out Ego wasn't playing, I didn't go change it over to Gam because I was like, hey, yeah, it's not going to happen. I had originally anticipated that this team was going to figure their shit out as they came into the splits. It seems like they were able to get some of the tuning done, and I think it's possible they challenge Luxury, but Luxury looked way too clean in their first series.
Now, Quincy, you've gone on the opposite side. You've gone for a 2-0. I want to say stomp for Luxury. Is this a 2-0 stomp, or do you think this is two very close games that Luxury is able to take over Saigon Buffalo?
I think it's more of the latter. I think Luxury is definitely the better team at the moment. Luxury also 2-0 versus Sky, who I think should be better than Saigon Buffalo. So transitive results, of course, very relevant. We all know it, yada yada. It should be Luxury favored in a very clear sense. But I just think Saigon Buffalo, they are better than their score will be if they also lose this series, with them being then 1-4. But I still think that Luxury just has the edge in 2 games against them. Not stompy, I would say, but definitely convincingly enough so that it will be a 2-0 for Luxury.
Yeah, strength of schedule is very important, and Saigon Buffalo have a very tough game next week as well against Team Secret, which I know has divided some of us in the VCS English. I know I'm on the side of Team Secret, but we'll
You're
see.
the only one on the side of Team Secret.
I'm the only one. Yes, I've been left alone. It's very sad. A little bit like how I'm the only host on this segment as well. It's the loneliness. It kicks in. But we are getting closer and closer to jumping on into picks and bans. So I'm trying to think of a fun thing to bring up, and I've got one, which is which of these three junglers do you think we'll be seeing for this game? Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, and Viego. Rebel, I'll go to you first.
I don't see a reason why we couldn't see all 3 of them. I also don't see a reason why all 3 of them couldn't be banned and that we get like completely new junglers in both games. I don't think either is completely ridiculous. Oh, bans count. Oh yeah, we're getting all 3 of them throughout all the season. I think Xin Zhao is the one that probably gets left out if it's going to be any of them. But yeah, the Viego and the Lee Sin definitely are getting picked by these 2.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Yeah, I mean, they will likely all get pinged. I actually hope they get banned so we see something new for once, because there's already the Xin Zhao then.
No.
Yeah, and maybe I just want to see the weird stuff again from Killer Queen. I mean, he has some pocket picks up his sleeve. I mean, I keep talking about the Echo. Depending on what you have up on the draft, you are on red side. You could maybe last pick it or something, or pick it on R4 and maybe have like the funny counter pick on there. And maybe the comp from Saigon Buffalo invites him to do it.
Interesting. back and forth between these two. It's the two mid lane bans. It's setting up something maybe for Froggy in the mid lane. I'm hoping the best part about what we saw, actually, at least from what I remember inside of what happened in the first game, that was actually really good for Saigon, was, again, it was Froggy feeling like he could skirmish. It wasn't a forcing move. It wasn't the Galio that was like guaranteed to be forced to be roaming all the time 100%. It was the Diana who was able to access fights pretty quickly just off the back of her roam potential without sacrificing too much. I completely missed that Zeri was taken off the board, and so that's just going to be an instant lock-in for Saigon. That's pretty cool.
Definitely is, and I wonder what the answer from Luxury will be. I would hope it will be some Jinx bot lane, because you can't punish the Zeri in lane. She's at the weakest point in that regard, and she just scales insanely well into the mid to late game. So you better be prepared to do some damage in the early game to even make it hard for her. And I gotta say towards Froggy, I mean, this Diana pickup that he did against the Flash is something that helps Saigon Buffalo a lot in this draft, because it just makes them so much less predictable. And I think this is maybe one way to even have like a favorable mid lane matchup where you can just flex around a little bit and throw Luxury off guard. But as I see it and as I like it, they actually go for the Jinx in the first rotation on the red side, and this is one way to punish the Zeri for sure.
It is.
I've got to ask as well, Rebel, with this Zeri being locked in, what should Luxury essentially be doing to try to shut the Zeri out of the game, because it has such a high win rate across the professional scene right now?
I mean, the biggest thing I think that got talked about yesterday was just how strong that the actual like laning phase is, and the fact that that's the weak point of the Zeri. So putting on pressure immediately, and they've already done one thing to assist with that, which is of course the Lee Sin from Killer Queen to be able to have something. The second thing that they can do is they can try to put something in the mid lane that can also roam. I know Twisted Fates within the pool of Blazes, but something that has some sort of global impact would be of use here. Picking the Corki is additional scaling. You throw those two into it's double range, and it's good range into Zeri, which is going to be helpful, especially when you're playing against already two melees, probably at least 1/3 melee on the way as well. But to me, at least, I think it's a little rough, because you really just want to be bearing down to make sure that the Zeri's not going to pop off.
Definitely will be. And I also like the Leona takeaway on the side of Saigon Buffalo, because you would want to have a Jinx Leona lane, and Fresh being taken away makes it very hard for her to have a good pick, because Leona counters all these other supports, right? The Rakan is getting countered by her, the Naruto is getting countered by her. There is not really that much left to take on the side of Luxury to really have a good bot lane matchup to even punish the Zeri in the early game. And I like to see the Poppy as well, because this might just be the Poppy jungle, and it would just mean that the trifecta of Lee Sin, Chen Zhao, Viego gets broken up a little bit more.
And it is something that is kind of staring out at me, especially when you look over to Luxury. What is their engage? Right now, okay, yes, they've got the Lee Sin kick, but with that Poppy, all of a sudden that's no longer available. And I'm just wondering, what do Luxury pick up now? Because for me, I just don't see any way of them being able to start a fight.
This is one possibility. It's something that can throw a little bit of additional engage into a team. And again, it's something that we've seen paired with the Jinx already during the course of this split. And it really heavily, like, it's not bad at brawling up against the Leona inside of the laning phase, just because of how hard it is to just burn through the health bar of the Tomcat. So I don't think it's ridiculous to take this up.
Wow.
Was that insta-locked?
Almost.
Big pog right there. That is a pick and a half.
That's Froggy on a farm-intensive champion. I'm not sure if that's really his style, but with the credit of Vega, maybe with Everfrost, he doesn't really need to farm much anyway. He just press the Event Horizon and everybody cries. That could be the way to go for him. And I would also like a Camille takeaway here, because Camille could be like one way for Coated to have like at least some sort of engage on the side of Luxury to really be there in the later stages of the game. And picking Akali into Hasmet would be a banger call for sure.
That's better.
I mean, I like this Gragas hover a lot more than the Akali, mainly because of what I mentioned before of no engage for Luxury otherwise.
It's a picking Akali for Coded, I don't think is bad. I saw him play at SEA Games, and he was actually looking like Hosmed, because at the time they had different accounts. They had like their personal accounts on the thing. They were working out of their own like solo queue, and so it was kind of difficult to distill whose names were whose. And at one point, I thought that Coded was Hosmed because of how good he was doing on the Akali pick. But there's so much denial of just direct access to this team between the Poppy and between the Veigar as an additive between those two, that like picking something like the Akali to go diving just does not feel good, right? Like, it's going to feel terrible to try to dive on that. So I like that they go for the Gragas, which helps a little bit more. It's something more sustainable in the laning phase for Coded, and it gives some additional range for Engage. You push a couple of members away, and all of a sudden, you know, your Corki poke, your Jinx poke, that starts to really stick.
And Gragas also is able to just engage onto the Poppy, right? I mean, you don't really get stopped. You don't need the body slam to engage. You can just throw a cask and then the party just starts. And Veiga and Poppy deny a lot of engage potential, but from the Gragas, not so much. So I think the Gragas last pick is definitely an answer for sure for the side of Luxury. Gotta say, though, overall, the draft from Saigon Buffalo has a lot of answers to whatever Luxury had to bring here.
Now, we are getting very close to jumping into game and having to hand off to our wonderful casters. So, very quickly, Rebel Quincy, who do you think wins game 1?
Luxury.
Luxury. Okay. Both of our analysts on the side of Luxury. We'll see whether the game does pan out that way and whether Luxury can take their 3rd straight game win of the split. Carrix, you'll wait. Take us away.
Well, your way. We have Froggy on a champion that requires skill around the CS. A dangerous proposition, to say the least, but they need to bounce back from their last series, taking on a resplendent Luxury. And with a pick like Zeri, perhaps they can.
Oh, I'm so excited for this draft. So many cool things, especially on the Saigon Buffalo side. We have a Zeri again, Shogun Zeri. Unfortunately paired with the Leona, because VCS can't ever go Enchanters for some reason. I hate that, but okay. To me, both of these drafts are very similar in the fact that it looks like whoever goes first is gonna lose the team fights. We have so many disengage tools on either side, and we have like 1 or 2 engaged champs with Lee Sin and Leona mostly, and then Gragas can be either. But whoever goes first is probably going to lose because the enemy team has so many answers. So I'm very interested to see which of these 2 super aggressive teams can hold back more, because neither team is known for holding back. And with how Luxury performed against Sky in their first series, this is a very different look, because they were diving turrets left, right, and center, and they can't really afford to do this against the composition Saigon Buffalo drafted for themselves.
Yeah, it is really interesting to see how they're going to sort of hold that one up. Someone else I want to keep an eye on is Blazers. Obviously, Corki at this point globally, it has become a little bit boring. Everyone's so used to it. But Blazers was playing it last split, and playing it well.
Yeah, he was maybe the second best Corki, together with Carty mostly. Those 2 adopted the Corki way earlier than anyone else. Even Yada wasn't really able to bring the Corki, so let's see what Blazers can do. Maybe the last week of Corki we can see, because at least in LEC and LCS, with the Corki nerfs, they have really shied away from the Corki, which surprised me, considering his damage is not touched at all, but it seems like people are really valuing the timers on those package respawns more than I anticipated, so potentially our last hurrah of the Corki, depending on when we are going to move on 11.3, but for now, this lane is probably the most boring farm lane you've ever seen in your life. Neither champion wants to do anything for the first, 30 minutes of the game, so we're just going to collect some minions, and yeah, Froggy needs to show us all that he can see us. And most of the time, to be fair to him, on control mages, when he does play the farm game, he is, let's not say great, but decent at it. It's the games where he tries to roam and impact other lanes where he really falls behind very hard in those lane matchups. So I don't expect him to fall behind too much. He's already behind 5 CS, but there's a wave crashing into his tower, so even CS for the most part in the mid lane.
Ooh, Huzmed playing with fire a little bit up against Coded, going very low, ensuring his wave crashes, denying as many minions as he can, and the Bean J arrives.
Might force a teleport.
For a dive on, I guess. It's a bit risky. Yeah, they're going to walk him all the way out of lane. Bean J is just going to escort him, give him a little bit of a slap on the ass on his way out, and that's going to be a teleport forced.
So I'm not 100% sure on the interaction. It looked a little weird to me because Gragas did move with his E, so either Bean J was a tiny bit slow on the W activation, or
the
Gragas.
W wasn't up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Gragas did move. So I think if he came in with the W activated at the start, then of course the Gragas might just wait out the W, which is possible. But yeah, it looked to me like BJ was a little bit uncomfortable on this champion. It's not really a champion you would associate with BJ, as we have a bot clash. Taki.
Oh, Vit's in trouble, has to flash away. Good play there by CBL, delaying any forward movement by Taki, who takes a bit of damage on the way out for himself, but that's 2 summoners forced off of Vit for only the ignite of Taki, and BJ, he reset after that top lane play, and he's here in the bot lane.
Flash.
Vit has to be very careful. Zap buying time. The E
Beautiful.
misses. That's a real... Oh, that's such a big brain time Kent move, but it just doesn't matter. Oh, it does in fact matter as the rest of Luxury arrive. BJ has the movement speed to try and get away. Will dodge away from the tongue. Taki, though, has no hope as Killer Queen turns it around. 2 for 1.
Oh, Killer Queen Flash. Okay.
Oh, Killer Queen. He wants this. Flashes over the baby cage, throws out the Q, gets BJ.
Man, Killer Queen is such a smurf. He's playing out of his mind the whole winter. He has been amazing, and I'm talking about winter more as a season than a split. So winter split, he has really come together, and now spring split, he's just continuing to perform. Wow, Killer Queen's first thing he does on screen, basically after farming for 4 minutes, is getting a double kill with amazing aim. But as he pointed out, very bad mechanical execution there. Why don't you just flash E, BJ? Flash E! Flash E! What are you waiting for?
It's not only a misplay on BJ's part. I think CBL also played it perfect.
Oh, for sure, but
Just through
CBL
the
never...
dive where he knew he was going to be.
Definitely, with what was given to CBL, he played it perfectly, but if you flash E, CBL has no chance of getting there in time. The W's channel takes too long, so... It's really just on BJ not being decisive enough, or maybe thinking he can get away without his summoner spell, but really, just use the flash, secure the kill, walk out again. This way, now Luxury very far ahead, and here's another dive!
Yep, they're going under tower, they want Husmed, they cast him back out into the open, Conan tanking up the perfect amount of tower damage. But Killer Queen will fall on the way out. That's a shutdown given over to Husmed, he'll be happy with that one.
A little bit of a caster curse there, going Killer Queen's way. That was not great. He missed the Q on the set play, so maybe a little bit of miscalculation on the replacement range from Coated, but in the end, I think he should have probably called off the dive there, because he gave over a shutdown to the Jace, and... Well, the Grog is not going to be happy with that shutdown going over. He now has to play against an accelerated Jace. And yeah, his jungler got a kill, but he already had 2 kills, so definitely a losing play for the side of Luxury. And Saigon Buffalo now has a little bit of a power advantage on the top side. Husmed had a rough series on yesterday, it was, I believe, so let's see what he can do today.
Yeah, I think he went 1-6 on the Tryndamere, that was not great. Also, just a little bit of a check-in, Husmed currently 10 CS up, and as of about 5 seconds ago, already has 56 stacks on that Veigar passive, up to 62 now. So he's off to a great start.
Oh, Killer Queen has ultimate.
Oh, Husmed does his best with the E. He's actually got a lot of movement speed, and they can't get onto him. Well played.
Nicely done. And that's taking so much pressure. You're still investing so many resources to get the Gragas into a more even state of the game, maybe punishing Husmed, taking away his freedom in top lane, but he had no flash. Now flash is available for the next gank. So the window of punishment has closed now, and Killer Queen needs to be careful. He's super strong though in the 1v1.
Yeah, just immediately puts the boot on BJ. They know that there's no top laner here for SGB, but there is a bottom lane as Shogun has already arrived. CBL moving in from the side. BJ gets the hammer onto Lee Sin, but it just doesn't matter because Corky's here with a package. Who's
He got it! He got it!
Oh,
no,
Blaze has got it in the end. He picks it up, he secures it. BJ could not hold his smite. He had to use it for health. A tragedy for the Buffalo.
And this is really... Oh, okay, Husmed wants some revenge. We have a chaotic game. And both of these...
we found Inigo. I think we found it.
Both of these teams didn't really draft for this kind of style, but we know these are two of the most aggressive teams, especially with how Luxury looked on day one, on Friday. Usually, maybe not the most aggressive team, but they have a new look, and SGB has always been the highest combined kills per minute of any team, so close to actually stealing that one away, but BJ just disconnected from his team. Killer Queen, well, sometimes the aggression backfires, and this time Hasmed is there to punish him. He's going to get both of the buffs, I believe, so Hasmed in a really strong position. You pointed out Froggy's CS, so Saigon Buffalo, apart from the obvious flaws in their objective game right now, they're doing well for themselves in laning phase.
That they are your way as the barrel comes out in topside. Coded, trying to play around this one, but BJ flies in from the side and gives Jace another kill.
Beautiful, another one over to Hasmed, so he's now 3-0, I believe, or 3-1 I should say, because he died in the first dive, so okay, double flash, Killer Queen is here, hot on his heels.
Yeah, but Froggy's okay at the moment, puts up the baby cage. It's a big obstacle for Killer Queen to navigate. I think Froggy's fine.
Killer Queen is so thirsty. Oh my god. Just chasing forever and ever. This buys a lot of time for Corky though, and Blaze is immediately using his Rift Hold. A little early maybe, but should be 2 or 3 platings. Yeah, with the help of Killer Queen should be 3 platings. So Blaze is very strong as well. He picked up 2 of the kills. He's now ahead in CS as well as Corky was moved out of lane due to unfortunate circumstances. So please cut him some slack. He was actually ahead in the 1v1, but then had to move out of lane. This now means Blazes, yeah, he's in a very good position to carry this game.
Yeah, he really, really is. Want to just do a quick look in on the bottom lane. Both of the 80 carries are scaling and moving on. Back to the top side of the map where there has been more and more action. Killer Queen, he's very strong. He's got those 3 kills, but his farm's really nothing to be too proud of.
Yeah, that's true, but I think he was much more focused on actually not dying, so it's alright, I'd say. Let's see if he's going to go for another aggressive... I completely lost, so what you were talking about, I'm very sorry, but Killer Queen gets another kill there in the top lane, so he definitely gets me back into the game as he is not focused on farming at all, and he's Lee Sin, so that's alright to do. I thought you were talking about you were talking about Hasmed there for a second.
I was not.
Yeah, but Killer Queen now puts a foot down in the top lane, and that's 2 more platings, so Luxury winning the objective game. And look at the gold lead, it's 2k at 12 minutes.
Yeah, this is Luxury. Once again, they did this up against BTS to a much bigger degree. Saigon at least putting up a fight. They will move down, claim themselves a Hextech Drake, getting that first stack, but it's a first Drake at 12 minutes. It's hardly breaking speed records. A soul is still a long, long distant future. That's 4 plates being taken on the top side. This Gragas is very big.
Oh, awesome.
They're just going to dive him.
Oh, the E misses though. That's a kill.
Oh, Hasmed though turns it around. The teleport now coming in. Killer Queen going low. He has a blast cone. Can Hasmed find that last shot? He can't, but he'll take the one.
And what is Luxury doing? I mean, they're still winning the game. They're putting in a good effort to win the game for sure. But why are you focusing so hard on the top lane? Coated Gragas is not there to dominate the lane, and they are really failing in these dives over and over again. Now Hasmed 4-2. Yes, CS isn't great, but he has all the gold he needs. And apart from the obvious tower advantages for Luxury, Saigon Buffalo is keeping up with them, so good performance so far on the bounce back. And Coated, you really can't... Oh, it's a beautiful sidestep for Hasmed, honestly. And this was a double kill angle. Froggy very, very unhappy with that teleport, because that was wasted. It was super late as well. As we see the tower, there's another attempt on Coated.
Yeah, they're going to go under the tower there. Lots of damage coming in. The barrel does create some space, but Hasmed doesn't actually want to come back in. That's an ignite spent, but Coated survives. Now Killer Queen coming up.
The Q!
Extremely low. The Q lands. Hasmed knocks him away. He needs to find another Q onto either target. Will get him a kill. He can't quite find it.
Why are we constantly playing around top lane? I don't understand. Both of these teams just won the party in the top lane, and both ADCs have been farming very nicely, actually. And BJ here for some action.
Yeah, but he's never going to find anything. That was, I don't think, ever going to happen. Just gave CBL a little bit of damage. Shogun continuing to scale up on the Zeri. Has the Triforce completed already. No Mythic for Jinx, but I think he's probably sitting on quite a lot of gold. So should be able to back for the Kraken Slayer or the Gale Force soon enough.
Yeah,
The
and
tower falls in the top side. The gold lead is grown slightly.
Luxury definitely in control of this game. It's not quite as clean as we've seen some of the other games go in their favor and earlier today for Sky. But even though they have some over-aggressive moves on the map, they're maybe miscalculating a little bit of their advantages. They're still definitely winning this game right now. Hasmed is the huge power point for Saigon Buffalo, and they need to put him to use. They are basically fighting poke with poke in the late game with Corki against Jace. But first we have a clash at the second Rift Ult.
We do, but it's already going down very, very low. The Jinx Rocket comes across. No Miracle Steals there. Luxury, are they still interested in this one? I don't think they are. They just wander away.
Nicely done. Saigon Buffalo using their zoning tools, especially Froggy's E there, Event Horizon, to zone Blazes away. Blazes can opt to package through that Event Horizon, but then he's stunned afterwards, so it's super dangerous. But you have to keep this possibility in mind. It's unstoppable, so you can actually escape the cage if you want to. Later in the game, this might come in handy if he wants to reposition, gets caught by Froggy or anything. So he's going for the poke Corki as well, as we all expected. So this is really just fighting fire with fire, and it's just accuracy now. Hasmed against Blazes in a little bit of an archery contest.
Always fun. It's coded. Gets away. Hasmed is scaling up well. Has that Eclipse. Has the Muramana, the Mana Moon. Hasn't turned into the Muramana quite yet. That would be very early. Your way. Who is actually favoured in a long game? I know scaling is a very nebulous thing, and I know there's opinions on it. Sometimes it's overvalued, but if this goes to 3-4 items, who do you think that benefits?
Yeah, indeed. That's very hard to say in this game. I think both teams have a
think
lot
it
of
is.
things that go well for them in the late game. It's mostly down to execution and how people are going to play around the fights before the fight starts. I think in a pure 5v5 without anything, it can go either way, honestly. It really just depends on execution. Generally, I think Corki is an obstacle that's very hard to overcome in the late game. Corki can just sit there, be safe with his W, and poke everyone to death. So honestly, at this point, especially on this patch, I almost always favor the Corki composition. So I feel like I give the very slight edge to Luxury, but there's certainly ways how Saigon Buffalo can get away from those kind of advantageous positions, and they have a little bit of poke of their own. I think Shogun is going to play a huge part. Blazes does not have package. He's just walking up there, and look at the damage already.
Yeah, but the dragon has already fallen, so Luxury are just going to be looking for kills on the other side. Shogun poked down extremely low, but it's a lovely Event Horizon, stopping any plays from Luxury.
And this is a little bit of a bad position to be in for Luxury for the whole game, because they lost 2 dragons, even though they might have been the stronger team. Looking at the Corki damage there, they certainly were the stronger team in just the poke standoff. So losing a little bit of the early dragons means they have to be more decisive around the next few. And if they have to go in, Corki against Jace battle is just so funny. But if they have to go in to secure Dragon, it really plays into the Event Horizon and the Steadfast Presence counter-engage.
Yeah, I really want to keep an eye on BJ and how he does use that Steadfast Presence. As there's a teleport coming in, they're going down under the tower. Hasmed immediately taken extremely low, just flashes away to safety though, does well. Froggy picked up 1 kill, Hasmed picked up the 2nd. Now BJ playing a huge front line here, but has to be careful of Vit's damage. But Taki surfs into the backside. This is 3 kills already picked up. This could be a game-ending fight your way, as Luxury are melting away. 4 of them have fallen.
Okay,
Vit
Shogun?
has to run. Shogun surfing on forward. Zeri is here to play. That's a shutdown. That's an ace.
And what did Luxury just do? We talked about them being aggressive around tower dives, but this is not the composition to do it with. They ignore the composition, and unfortunately, we have seen this so many times in the VCS. Think back to the spring split last year, where Saigon Buffalo tried those poke comps, those late-game hyper-carry Vel'Koz comps, and they just weren't really able to execute. And once again, this is an instance where the team comp looks great, but they do the same thing they've practiced in scrims on their normal comps. But diving Veigar and Poppy is just not the way to go. Vit isn't even there, and Vit has no mana too. Gets caught by Taki. A really bad position, honestly, by Vit. But the fight is already over at this point, so just a bad read on their and the opponent's composition, I think. They were just a little bit too excited about their early success, and now the game is firmly in Saigon Buffalo's control. Everyone got some kills out of there. The Corki is still here, the Corki can still win the game, but right now Saigon Buffalo is feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, for sure. After a big fight win like that, they are back in the gold lead for I think the first time this game. Their Veigar continues to scale 170 stacks for Froggy. He's having an absolutely fantastic time. Killer Queen. He can't get in. Oh my word, as you said on the other side, Vit just has been assassinated. Shogun pops the ult, gets one kill. You know he's going to go over this wall. No, never mind. He doesn't have the E. Doesn't want to go that crazy. As the baby cage once again is used, denying the approach. They're just going to start the Baron.
Look at the zoning from Coated. He's trying to keep Hasmed away from the Baron, but he's losing very hard.
Is he zoning him? I think he might just be running. As Hasmed appears to want to give him a go. Hasmed will die. It's a shutdown given over to the Corki.
Corki at Baron.
100% secure the Baron.
Ooh.
Rockets. Ooh, nope. Smited away. Well done there by B&J. CBL dives his way to safety as well. So it's a dead Hasmed, but it's 4 lovely velvet suits for the Buffalo.
And in the end, Saigon Buffalo get away with the Baron and advantageous kill trades as well, I believe. They kill Killer Queen and Vit. And of course, Vit against Event Horizon without Flash, that's very hard to play. We just saw him, Froggy completely shutting down the enemy AD carry. Froggy and Shogun working together. Very nice slow into Event Horizon. There's nothing he can do. And then Killer Queen, he was looking for his big flank, but he was the one being flanked. In the end, it's a Baron buff, and Saigon Buffalo is moving ahead in this game. They can now really try to siege against the Corki. The Baron buff is really the only thing that can give you a little bit of security in sieging, because even Corki can't clear Baron buffs in a second. And what is he doing over here? CBL is set.
CBL has been found. The frog will be sent back to the sewers. It's a disaster there. And it looks like Buffalo are just in full control of this game. The Leona zoning ultimate used. It's not a miss, it's a zone. Ooh, big shot hit onto Blazers as well. Take a little bit of that, you bloody Corky. Bit of your own medicine. As they will back off. Saigon Buffalo very happy with what they've already achieved.
And that's how Hasmed is really putting in work here, as we have a huge pick.
Yeah, it's an absolutely massive one as they're going to go in. There is a flash over the wall there by Coded, but Lee Sin will fall. But Froggy's gone down on the other side already. Into the wall, BJ gets it, and Hasmed with a double as he whips in the big shock blast. And they will come out just about on top.
I love these two teams. They're so chaotic. They never shy away from a fight, even on these compositions, which, to be honest, once again, doesn't really make much sense, but we're here for it. And that's another dragon for Saigon Buffalo. They are now just one dragon away from Seoul. Seoul is gonna be insane against Corki if they're secured, so it's really on Luxury to show us some signs of life here and maybe prepare for the next game, because this one looks almost, I wouldn't say non-dusted, but definitely in control for Saigon Buffalo. And look at this Jace, 9-3. They tried to shut him down. They focused everything, all their efforts in the early game on the top lane. And honestly, in the first series, they went to bot lane. They played through Vit. Vit was their main carry, and he looked amazing. This game, they went back to their old topside ways. Not working so far.
Froggy.
Yeah, really nice from Froggy. He dies for it.
He dives for it, but who cares?
Yeah, he set up the fight. It was nicely done. Hasmed with the shield. Clutch shield there from his item. If that Q hits, that's probably an inhibitor if he hits that one Q on the backline target. But regardless, it's still going to be a lot of gold and the dragon, but not actually breaking the base, because it's so hard against this composition. They have so much range, they have so much wave clear effortlessly from so far away. And Vid scaling up, Corki scaling up, 3 items completed for Blazes, so we shouldn't write this off.
Taki surfs his way in. Good flash there to not get knocked into the enemy team by the Gragas barrel. Husmed whips another one in. Doing it well. Oh, Froggy! He just flashes over the wall, immediately throws out the Everfrost and the Event Horizon. Look at all of this damage raining in onto Luxury. He can't quite follow it up into a kill, but again, demonstrating the damage that this Buffalo composition can put out.
You can say what you want about Froggy, but he is a playmaker. And that was another instance of Froggy going absolutely crazy. In the end, he drew a few flashes, I believe. Yeah, Blazes Flash. Blazes Flash. That's a good trade. Blazes Flash is so important. Now he can't flash out of your E. If you ever get him into the E, he has to use the package if he has the package. Taki might die here.
Taki in trouble. Taki, his back was stopped by the rocket, but it doesn't matter. When you trade a support for a jungler, you are trading up. As Killer Queen just goes too deep, and truly the Queen is dead.
And look at Vid. Vid is just trying to run around the map, avoid enemy contact, just get as much gold as possible, as quickly as possible. He's still far away from an IE. Actually went for armor penetration first. Not sure if I agree with that. Actually, take a look at Taki's build. Looking at Taki's build, I really don't agree with that. Of course, he's going to get a little bit of HP base damage. Warmox is an interesting one, because he can now take the poke from Blazes all the time and just walk back and take a little bit of time to regenerate and then stand on top of in front of his carries again.
The thing I need to confirm is, does he have 3,000 health?
They changed Warmox. You don't need 3k.
Is that not a thing anymore? For Heart of Warmox, is that not a thing anymore?
Yes, but they changed it somehow. I think you need a little bit less. It's definitely better as a single item now. I need someone to confirm how it actually works, but I believe it's easier to trigger now, so you don't actually have to go through 3k. Should hopefully be available for him. We're going to check later.
Hopefully. I do see the logic. If the passive is turned on, I definitely see the logic. I'm not 100% sure I agree with it, but I do see his thinking at the very least. Both teams now playing around this top side in the red buff region for Luxury. SGB getting all of the vision in the world. This is an absolute nightmare situation for the Luxury team. Baron, 20 seconds away, and if that control ward gets cleared, this is a pitch black portion of the map.
Yeah, it's beautiful control from Saigon Buffalo, littering the enemy top side with wards, and it's so hard to clear them. They can't walk into there because all these choke points, especially on the mountain rift, are perfect for Froggy to set up his E. Look at Killer Queen, he's just walking around, can't really do anything. I'd expect Froggy to have maxed his E by this point as well, so it's a 3-second stun if anyone ever walks into that one. Look at CBL, he's supposed to be the tankiest target. 2 Ws put him down to almost half HP. Shogun has no issue clearing the waves now with this item, so it's a really good position. But look at the timer at the top left of the screen. 30 seconds left to maybe the game deciding soul fight, and the poke is in Saigon Buffalo's favor.
That it is, and Mountain Soul would only make it worse, as those shields allow them to shrug off the poke even more. But Blazes is carrying around a hefty set of rockets. As the package is locked and loaded, the package is primed. He
16.
has a big
he's almost
job
dead
to
though.
do. But a kaboom! Shock blast lands and he packages away. Disaster for Luxury.
He does have teleport, but nowhere to teleport to, so I think Luxury is going to make a beeline for the Baron. They can't contest the Dragon, they know that they can't.
Look at this.
Double ADC on the Baron. Saigon Buffalo knows about this. Ooh, they're calling off the Baron and the teleport is coming in. This is the game-deciding moment.
Win the game. This decides the game, potentially. The helicopter comes in. Poppy written high the enemy jungler, but she can't get in to secure it with the smite. That is going to be the Baron skewered here for Luxury, but CBL will be the first to pay the price. Froggy with a good Everfrost there, holding up Killer Queen for a moment. Shogun now rides over the wall, wants to ride the lightning.
Ult available.
And he whips a shock over onto the rest of the team. There's the Baby Cage trying to stop that Lee Sin, but it doesn't matter because the rocket suns back in from Jinx. This is a potential turnaround here by Luxury. They played this perfectly. They have the health bars your way. Shut down for Jinx. She gets excited, charges on forward, and SGB are on the retreat. They've made the wrong call.
SGB still with positioning on the Dragon, and there's no teleport or anything close to the Dragon, so SGB might just try to force the Dragon. They might even concede some lives for the Dragon. No, they lose both
Their
objectives.
health bars are way too low. They've really screwed this. This is a horrible decision out of SGB.
Yeah, I have to go back to the start of the game when we talked about these two compositions scaling, and it's mostly about who's going to go in first, because whoever goes in first loses the fight, and this is another instance of that coming to fruition, or coming true, where Luxury is the one to be able to kite back defensively. Saigon Buffalo, they have so many amazing disengage tools, but their engage is meek. It's pretty bad, honestly. Event Horizon is not quick enough to catch anyone. The Poppy as an engage tool is not great either. It's much better defensively. So they just funnel into all of the enemy team one by one and die one by one by one. Many shutdowns to Vid. Double objective bounties and double objectives for the side of Luxury. And suddenly the game is super close again.
And it starts so well. You see Lee Sin flying off to the side, but it's a barrel that stops BJ stealing it. Well played, Coated.
Yeah, and look, Hasmit puts in so much work here, but then he oversteps at the crucial moment. Also, look at Froggy and Shogun together, grouping up against the Rockets, and now look at the shredding Rockets. 3 abilities, and they're both dead. Shogun can't continue the fight. Hasmit oversteps into the Gragas. Good flash from Vid to secure another shutdown. That's just a huge shutdown. Look at his items now. He should be close. Oh no.
But as we come back out, ultimates being used onto Coated. It's just the one, though.
Yeah, and it's against Baron, so they're not going to be able to push anything down. The Baron is not going to advance the map positioning for Luxury, as it seldomly does from behind. It's much more just the objective to prolong the game. Enemy team doesn't have Baron, so they can't do anything. You will not be able to do anything with the Baron, but at least you buy time. And Hasmid is working on the tower. Oh no, Killer Queen!
Oh no, Killer Queen, the baby's been caged. You hate to see it if you're a Luxury fan. Blazers is thunking in a lot of damage though, as another cage goes up. CBL playing well around the boundaries. You need to be careful here, SGB. There's still a hell of a lot of poke, but they'll claim a tower against the Baron.
Yeah, Baron is a very useful objective, by the way. The next big thing to spawn is the Mountain Dragon. 3 minutes away, and this time Saigon Buffalo should just focus on the Mountain Drag. They got baited by the Baron objective, and as you can see, the Baron doesn't actually do anything. They could have just given up the Baron. Who cares? Give them the Baron. They're going to have a few minutes with Baron, and then Baron is gone. Just secure the soul. Now the soul is dicey, because look at all the items coming in. 4 items Corky, 4 items on Vid, no IE, which I hate, but still 4 items. And yeah, they do bring the damage now to win team fights. It's gotten much riskier in the last few minutes, and Saigon Buffalo might have squandered the opportunity to take away a game from Luxury.
This is suddenly a very losable game, as you've been saying. And SGB, should this go in Luxury's favor, will be kicking themselves, because you're right. Just give up the Baron, take the Mountain Soul. It doesn't matter. You would right now be in such a better position. Luxury, they're gearing up to, still 2 minutes away from that Dragon fight. It's going to be another situation where they have to choose between Dragon and Baron, and SGB. For the sake of your fans, I hope you choose right this time.
Yeah, you just saw what they did with Baron, which was absolutely nothing. So please just take the Dragon. Take the Dragon side of the trade, it's the better one. But one thing we have to keep our eyes on keep a very close eye on is BJ ultimate. If Saigon Buffalo is able to control the space and get there first, BJ has the opportunity to deny everything from Killer Queen. And he did find Killer Queen in the last fight, so I expect him to be on point with those. Froggy, under a little bit of pressure.
Uses the Everfrost just to buy himself a bit of space, as another wave is cleared. We're still a minute away. Neither of these teams should be fighting until then, unless someone makes an egregious mistake.
Yeah, and now is the time for Blazes and for Hasmit to trade poke. You can see Hasmit isn't actually that scary anymore. You can see Blazes able to walk away with almost 3/4 of his HP. And now the Rockets are going to be shot back and forth.
That they are. I'm worried about Luxury funneling in.
Look at
There's
BJ.
the ult being used, but they can't get in because of the chompers. The barrel's just not Froggy onto those chompers. Forward has gone one. Killer Queen has been found. He went too deep, and now BJ finds his way into the backside. He's on top of Blazers. Zap! It's a Thundershock into the backside. And much like AZDC, they have been thunderstruck. And now Luxury are being taken away. They are in so much trouble. Taki on top of them, shut down onto the Jinx. SGB have found the fight before the Dragon, before the Baron, into the base.
They take matters into their own hands. They don't wait for the poke to come either side and wait for them to lose control. They just create the greatest flank I've seen in a long, long time. Playing ADC flank, and also the Poppy ultimate was MVP worthy. There was such a great ultimate to change the fight. Everyone coming in from different sides, and suddenly Saigon Buffalo look revitalized. And they get the first win over Luxury after losing to Flash. Is Flash the best team in the league?
Maybe it is the return of Flash, but maybe it is just one game your way. We'll be going to a short little break, and then our analyst desk will be taking you through that game blow by blow. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just over 5 minutes. See you then. Bo3.
Welcome back, folks. We have just seen game 1, Saigon Buffalo taking the win over Luxury. Now, Rebel, Quincy, I'm going to have to level with you guys. I'm a little bit disappointed. You both said that Luxury were going to win, and that didn't happen. So I want to know what went wrong with your predictions. Quincy, I'll go to you first.
I trusted my usual gut feeling again because earlier on I got called out by Juve for not trusting in myself and keep going for better draft always loses. I was much more convinced by the second Buffalo draft, so of course I now expected them to lose again. And yeah, I'm just too inconsistent, I guess. And I mean, the game was very, very one-sided and not flipped at all. And there was no panic over a Baron that wouldn't really be that useful anyway. And so I guess I just have to take the L on this one.
And Rebel, what's your excuse?
I'm doing what I like to call hedging my bets. You remember how my prediction was 2-1 for Saigon? Well, if I say that, the side of Luxury wins every single game, either Saigon wins and then I'm correct and I get to look cool on paper, or I look like a genius analyst that predicts Luxury and I'm simply better than everybody else. So either way, I just come out winning. So that's my strategy.
I'll give you that. That is a very smart way of doing things. However, we do have a...
Oh no.
Oh, what?
The thing happened. Our
Yeah.
host is gone. Yeah.
No.
So.
All right. I mean, I guess we just talk about what happened during this game because that's the most important thing. We can take a look at the last fight, because that's really cool. And then we can start to, I guess, dissect what happened. That's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, that is.
Sure. I mean, up until this point, we had talked about like what the engage was going to be when it came to like both teams and like how it was going to affect quite a bit. And it started things off with like Killer Queen going down. But look like how separated everybody is on Luxury, right? Like at no point do they get to like set in one place and immediately look for like any kind of poke in one direction. Shogun got this insanely good flank to be able to find his way onto Blazes, which really drove everything kind of apart. Because all of a sudden, like, none of the peel is available for either of the carries. Blazes gets burst out, and then immediately Vit goes down, and there's just no fight, right?
Yeah, that and also the unsung hero, I would say, is Binjay in this fight. I keep flaming him, but this fight he played really well. He used his flash and his Keeper's Verdict to just knock away the bot lane from Luxury, so they could even return damage on their own, while just Blazes, Killer Queen were just getting boiled down by everything that Saigon Buffalo really had there. And unfortunately, like this, there was no way for Luxury to even have a standing in this fight. They were already down the mountain soul, if I remember correctly. And it was already a hard fight to take because the Baron that they snuck away earlier, the objective shots they got, that was already expiring. So, like this, Saigon Buffalo in the late game with the Zeri Vega draft actually came out ahead. And gotta say, we asked the question about the scaling during the cast. It wasn't really a black or white answer, I would say, but Saigon Buffalo just played better in this game.
I think ultimately what it came down to when it came to scaling in my considerations was like Blazes more than even like Vit. Both of them had the range to contest the opposition, but to me Blazes was really supposed to be the linchpin of the composition that came through for Luxury. And I don't think he quite ever got to the point, or they never really got him into a team fight that he felt comfortable enough for the missiles to start hitting multiple members or being really as effective as you would want it to be, being able to cluster everybody else together, because like they could basically do anything they wanted, which was rather nice. Not to mention, like, Corky's on one side of a fight, but then, like, you think of the other side of the fight, you have the Zeri, you have, like, Hosmed, who get crazy at the beginning of the game. I think it was really intelligent to try to make sure that Hosmed was getting a bunch of resources, because the Jace and being able to contest from a range meant that if they try to force into you, all of a sudden you're playing into a Vigar and a Poppy, and if you stay at range and you're trying to poke with a Quirky, then, like, you're taking Jace damage, and, like, that was problematic for them as well.
Yeah, one problem was for sure that both junglers were really ganking for Hosmed, because I remember Killer Queen going like up like 2-0, 3-0, and then he was diving and feeding the shutdown into the Jace, who was already having a nice time in the laning phase, and Hosmed got like 13, 14 killed in this game and was absolutely popping off. But also, credit to Foggy. I mean, his event horizons either forced flashes or straight up kills onto Killer Queen and Blazes, and that was very troublesome for Luxury.
He's always going to be the first person we look at when it comes to what champions are actually going to come back. I think Milky's here, which is nice because we got the draft on screen. Milky, are you alive?
I am alive. My internet is cutting in and cutting out faster than a Gwen snips someone to death. Speaking of Gwen, it's been banned away and we are into picks and bans. And I guess it's not really that much of a surprise, Rebel, that this Veigar has been banned away by Luxury.
It's actually kind of cool. I know Yolwei always loves to talk about this whenever he has a chance to be on desk, and we love talking about Ren specifically as a coach. And Saigon has this really, really good propensity to try new things consistently on a season-to-season basis. It's one of the best parts about Saigon is that they're always willing to throw things at the wall and see what sticks, right? I remember it was like when in the split where they ended up in second place, they went for like a Vel'Koz poking composition out of the mid lane, and Froggy was able to make it work. They had like the Kayn mid lane that was working specifically because of Froggy, who was able to accomplish that. And then you have things like this split where, like, of course, the Veigar is kind of unique to this team. Even this Diana is kind of unique to this team. It really is like a very kind of head coach stylistic of like drafting and play, where there's a lot of experimentation that they're working with.
And we don't even know where the Diana is going, but it could be BJ's Diana, it could also be Froggy's Diana again, and they picked it very early, so it would tell me maybe they're confident that Diana is indeed a good pick against Twisted Fate to really like win the stat check, or just all in the Twisted Fate and kill him over and over again, or just go side lane later on in the game. So Diana is a pick that's very smart for their side, giving away Lee Sin, of course, to the side of Luxury, which is of course a very strong mid lane jungle duo, together with the Twisted Fate, and yeah, I think our host is gone again, as I see a very weird iteration of our split screen on the stream. But either way, Caitlyn may be a good takeaway because Caitlyn Karma is a bot lane you do not want to play against.
Yeah, it's funny enough because, like, I don't know where Mobby is, but she's got to be seething right now that, like, the first Caitlyn pick is when she's not on broadcast, unfortunately, because she was talking about how good that the pick was and that it was not popping up in any single game. Here is Luxury, where Vit has been such, like, a pretty standout performer so far in this split for Luxury. Playing towards bottom lane seems like a very logical conclusion for what they need to do in a lot of different situations. They go for the Twisted Fate on Blazes, which is one of his better champions. They go for, again, the Killer Queen Lee Sin, which I think is big, and now they have a target of affection for both of these champions to really go for during the laning phase.
They definitely do, and they ban away Nautilus and Fresh, which of course means that Caitlyn Lux is a potential bot lane would still be open. I think it has fallen off a little bit out of the meta, but it would still be playable for the side of Luxury, I dare say. And I wonder if maybe even Saigon Buffalo tries to take it away, but I think this would be not ideal if you have so much melee damage into your competition, and you also leave away the opportunity of Diana Yasuo. Diana Yasuo would be so strong. Also, Yasuo, a champion, I would say, stylistically, he very much fits what Froggy wants to do in every game, so Yasuo wouldn't really surprise me either, but they will instead go for Diana Viego, which means, of course, Diana will be Froggy's pick.
Yeah, it's not shocking. That's kind of been the consistency that we've seen time and time again, which is just that, like, Froggy goes back to the Diana because it's his comfort, right? Its effect in the first game of the season, I think, was dramatically underplayed because I thought it had some very positive effects that went a little bit under the radar. But we're going to get a chance to see another, like, kind of under the microscope look as you're getting, oh my goodness, the amount of poke that Luxury has brought out here. Look at this, the Caitlyn Lux combined with this Jace is not going to make it easy for Saigon. They need really definitive engage here because they are going to get poked out if they're not careful.
They definitely do, and it's potential free winning lanes with Twisted Fate Lee Sin combination. It could just be Luxury rolling all over Saigon. Gardner later, if they do not get ahead of this composition, it looks very, very doomed for them. Caitlyn with the weak mid-game power she has, and Twisted Fate not the highest damage champion overall for an AP mid laner in comparison. And Malphite as a response, yeah, it could just very, very quickly be the demise of Luxury if he finds a good unstoppable force engage onto them. And also scaling in general would definitely favor Saigon Buffalo here, I dare say. And I wonder if Luxury can just cleanly snowball an early game composition, because if they can, I think it's not very easy for Saigon Buffalo to play into this.
It's really upsetting that we didn't get the Yasuo, because now we're getting, like, the two best champions to be able to set that up. I'm upset BJ didn't take the DNK strategy for this, but it's a place where I feel like they have a comfortable enough bottom lane to where maybe they could survive the onslaught. So to me, it's actually about how much can they get Froggy and Hosmet to be able to attack so that BJ can try to throw a wrench into the top side and prevent Killer Queen and Blazers from just kind of dominating and have these three winning lanes to win everything. Is our host back?
I wonder too.
I don't know if you can hear me. I might just be talking to myself before my internet drops again. Okay, we've got two drafts, and I have been able to see it because I do really like the idea of a Caitlyn Lux, and for Vit as well, who has been playing rather well this season so far, although not that many games. So, Quincy, Rebel, before we throw to our casters, before my internet dies again, more importantly, thoughts on the draft, who wins? Quincy, go.
I think Luxury wins this just because they can play the win lane, win game style this time. It is a very straightforward composition comparatively. I think they just need to know how to use the Caitlyn Lux lane, because it's basically a one lane unless you mess up directly and just die to a gank or just do not really abuse your fire. So it's Luxury this time for me.
Luxury for Quincy, Rebel.
Yeah, I like Luxury's composition a lot more. But actually, I got a gut feeling about Saigon in this one. I'm going to call Saigon 2-0.
Okay, well, there we go. Analysts on the opposite ends of the board. However, I'm sure our casters are perfectly in sync. Carrix, your way, take us away.
Me and your way have never been in sync. It's a lie. We put on a good show, but honestly, we just hate each other off camera.
Do you remember the time when we were quite literally not in sync? Where we had to count down?
Oh boy, oh boy.
The dark
Don't bring
old
the memories
times.
back,
The
in
dark
fact.
old times.
The darkest of times. Luxury put together a really strong team comp here, I think. I'm surprised to hear our analyst saying the scaling favors SGB. We'll have to get Quincy to explain that at some point, because I think range exists. And Husband, you are a fantastic top laner, but you're going to have to do some magical stuff on Malphite in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit controversial. It kind of depends on where you see the outscaling potential. I think ultra late game, I definitely favor Luxury. I think Caitlyn is, quite honestly, an amazing late game champion. She's not great in the mid game, but ultra late, Caitlyn is actually a hyper carry in my opinion. But in the mid game, if she can't get ahead, she's not amazing, and then Jhin is probably better. Also, CBL taking horrible trades into Karma here. Jhin Karma, basically the immovable object. We are kind of playing the two strongest bot lanes against each other. Caitlyn Lux is known and feared, and Jhin Karma on the other side is just as strong, if not stronger. So I don't expect anything to come down in this bot lane. Jhin is one of the very few champions able to put up a fight against Caitlyn's lane pressure early on. Similar range, very good poke, very good trading. So this bot lane is going to be a fist fight, but I don't expect anyone to die. Just a little bit of pressure traded back and forth. I am very intrigued by this top lane counter pick, because we have seen Malphite come into the meta, especially in the Eastern Leagues, especially in the LPL, I believe, quite a lot as an answer to the Jace. It was talked about yesterday in LEC. I think someone played it as well in LEC, if I remember correctly. So definitely something people have been catching on. And it's one of those cases with all the Jace counter picks. It's the same, basically. Wukong is the same. It does okay in laning fights and then outscales in teamfights, or it's supposed to outscale in teamfights. In my opinion, there comes a point in every Jace game. Oh, Blazes under pressure.
Gonna have to cut you off as Blazers had to flash away. Ooh, Bean J, Pixels off there. If that Spectral more hits, that's almost certainly a kill. So it's a flash for flash trade.
That's horrific. That's so bad. The game plan said we gank mid lane, we invest a flash, we get a kill, we get Froggy ahead. This is now completely thwarted. Shogun and SGB maybe a little bit overpushed, as Killer Queen is here to punish.
Yeah, but the health bar on CBL is looking a little bit sussy, and Viego's put up his gas, forced them back. Luxury not able to punish.
Well, we'll return to the Jace conversation when it becomes relevant later. But we just to say, the last game we did see an amazing Jace, and I don't think he fell off. So let's keep that in mind when we look at Jace later in this game. He's already 12 CS ahead, but he might die to Husmet. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, no, not quite. Husmed not being able to find Malphite doing something. Is 10 CS down already. He's going to go back cheetah recall. Well, not actually cheetah recall, but just go for an early recall and then probably a teleport. Jace doing the same. I don't think Malphite cares if he's a bit down in CS though.
Yeah, usually he doesn't. There is always a breakpoint where the CS lead is too big, right? If you fall 30 CS behind by 10 minutes, then it's a cause for worry. But as long as you don't die, as long as you don't give up too many tower plates or even the whole tower, you should be fine. Speaking of giving up tower plates or dying, they are setting up the dive here, and they are first to the play.
That they are. The Rock could be in some trouble, but BJ is here to back him off. But look down on the bottom side as Shogun will claim the first blood. Husband flashing away, can't quite survive. But can BJ turn something around for a kill here? The health bars are very low, and Froggy is going to enter the fray. There is absolutely no escape. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. He joins the play, doesn't actually get an assist here. Is he going to flash over this wall? No, he is not. Not that crazy. But in the end, that play comes out SGB favored.
Oh, Froggy's so sad. He wanted that kill so badly. 2 times in a row betrayed by his jungler, who was supposed to gank him early to give him a kill. Now he was supposed to give Froggy the kill, and 2 times BJ betrays him. This time it's much less to the demise of his whole team, because BJ getting ahead is actually quite good as well. But Froggy is now begrudgingly taking the top wave instead. But let's look at this bot lane situation as, yeah, it's just Karma superiority. Looks like Karma is has an easy time dealing with Lux on the bot lane so far. The dive is dicey, Blaze is out of the play immediately, and yeah, then it's just BJ on Viego with some very nice sidesteps, biding his time to go back in.
We come back to live, and there's immediately another play. BJ tries to use that Spectral Maw, but the only Maw that is found is the gaping one of Killer Queen. Blaze is, Coded jumping forward as well. He'll claim one of his own. And that is Luxury firing back on all cylinders.
Why is it every time I say something positive about BJ, he immediately pays me back with an end? What is happening? Not the greatest W usage so far. As what are we looking at? Oh, how did this all transpire in the top lane? BJ just walking in, completely oblivious to Killer Queen's positioning. Well, Froggy tried.
Yeah,
Froggy really tried.
Yeah, Froggy did everything he could there. He popped the ult. He tried to play bodyguard, but the president fell and the Secret Service followed.
How hard is Froggy blaming his jungler in this game? The 3rd time he got betrayed by him. He even tried to flash ult to save his jungler, and then he went down as well. So now 3 times in a row, BJ has kind of forsaken Froggy's positioning. And now Froggy, 20 CS down in lane. It's something we have seen before.
He's been roaming, okay, to be fair. He has been roaming. We will continue to be the Frog Advocacy League here on the VCS English cast. You can't make us stop. Speaking of roaming, though, I want to see when Blazers is going to get out of lane. They called him up once towards that top side, but that wasn't with the ult. It was actually pre-6. Where do you think this first TF ultimate's going to be invested?
It looks like they're going to play around top side mostly, especially also looking at bot lane being in a pretty bad state right now. But Coated is taking a lot of damage. Husband has ultimate. This is in kill range.
Twisted Fate ultimate. Yeah, he's just going to try and turn it around, using the bush there excellently, playing around the vision. The gold card's actually thrown there by Blaze. His husband's going to be able to buy a lot of time. He will inevitably die. Blaze is getting the kill. But a 1-for-1 and use the TF ult? You take that every day of the week.
It's just a misplay from Coated. He's just not familiar with the kill range for Husband. I saw that in an instant. That was kill range. After 2 seconds, I knew he was going to kill him. Because, yeah, that level 6 is quite a bit of burst for Malphite. So, just a misplay as Killer Queen's getting caught. And here comes the crew.
Froggy's already called down the laser. Hearts are broken as Viego moves forward. Froggy will claim that kill. And that is a huge win here for SGB. They already had their bot lane coming up, so they pick up kills. They'll pick up the Herald, and they look lovely here in the early game.
First installment of all the paybacks BJ has to do to Froggy. Finally giving him a kill after completely shutting his own team member down in the early game. But now Froggy, 1-1. He's still behind in kills. He's still behind massively in gold, probably, because Blazes, of course, with the TF passive. That's another kill. At this point in the game. Do we really have to see this again? Coated. Yeah, this is kill range. This right now is kill range. I'm not sure why he doesn't know that, but...
This is really good vision play out from Husband, because he's just trying to stop the gold card being thrown.
Yep, that's a nice detail. Of course, he still goes down. Killer Queen. Killer Queen's Q is a targeted ability. You can't convince me otherwise.
I don't know if you saw that, but he did hit him with the very edge of the hitbox, so it actually turned at the end.
Doesn't matter, he hit.
Hit's a hit.
Yep.
Don't think it really mattered in the end. I don't think Husband was going anywhere. But impressive nonetheless. Killer Queen's mechanical prowess on full display as we return to a bit of a holding pattern Saigon Buffalo is currently 1,000 gold down, but with a Rift Herald in their pocket, I don't think they're sweating.
Well, the Rift Herald in the pocket is always a little bit of a gamble for the future, right? You have to make it count. We talked about this in the first series today, where you actually need to execute on the Rift Herald. So it's always better to be on the other side, to already be 1k gold ahead. So Luxury in a pretty comfortable position, especially considering Blazes with Teleport and Ultimate can easily counterplay the Rift Herald attempt. So I'm very excited to see what Saigon Buffalo is going to put forward to try and get back into this game. Firstly, they used their bot pressure. Shogun and Taki have been putting in work, so they are something that Saigon Buffalo can count on. And that's the first Dragon, Rift Herald and Dragon secured. As the weaker laning team, that's quite astonishing, honestly.
It really is. And something Quincy was saying, he did clarify what he was talking about in terms of scaling. He thinks Luxury just needed to be ahead. If they weren't ahead, they were going to struggle. And looking at the game, he may well be proven correct, as SGB are currently in a very good spot as the ace in the hole is used just for a little bit of poke. They're trying to regain their position in the lane, because anytime you see Caitlyn unable to shove the wave and mine tower plates, I start getting worried for the K.
Yeah, this was to be expected though, into Jin Karma. Jin Karma is just as potent as Caitlyn Lux, even stronger in this game. And yeah, I don't want to throw my fellow analyst under the bus. I definitely agree with him, with what he qualified his statement, or just elaborated. In the mid-game, and at the stage where most...
I'm sorry to cut you off, because Froggy's just trying to make a play here. Does get gold carded up. That was a really, really nice play there, using the rush while getting stunned. But unfortunately, it is a Lee Sin, was just able to W out of there. In the end, nothing happened.
Yeah, and just to finish my point before the next point of action comes...
You got about 10 seconds.
I think they should be fine. No, Luxury is setting up the dive. They are on vision, so this is very dangerous. Minion wave is dwindling away, and there's the teleport.
There's a Twisted Fate ultimate as well, though, but Killer Queen's immediately gone in. Karma's already gone
down.
No,
Shogun!
Shogun so low, taken down by the wild card. Surely wiling out here. Blaze is running towards the wall. Will flash over. Do they follow? I think it's very risky. You're in a 2v4. They don't. They just approach the tower. They're going to try and clear out the wave. BJ has to be careful. They can redive. They can redive your way. There's the gold card thrown out. Tagged up by the Q. BJ has immediately fallen. Froggy desperately trying to trade it back. He trades one, but he goes down.
But why? Saigon Buffalo, but why? Why? Saigon Buffalo can just not say no to a fight. They see a fight, they see enemy champions, they need to fight. It's inevitable. Wow, that was horrific from their side. They saw everything. Everything was on full display. They have vision. At this point, they already know about the dive. They can see the people in their
Run
in their
away! Run away! What are you doing? Get the hell out of there!
I mean, Killer Queen's Qs are insane. We have to admit that. He hits everything.
It's a targeted ability.
Yeah, it's just not fair. But then again, Saigon Buffalo, you don't have to continue the fight here. You can just walk away. Sure, the wave is small, and it's only a few seconds to redive. There are 4 members. You can see them on the wall. No, you can't actually, but you can assume they're coming. It's just sloppy play. This game is disappointing in the early game. And Saigon Buffalo was... all their composition is about is not falling behind too far in the laning phase. And they're doing exactly that.
Oh, but your way, the replay is over, which means it's time for another fight. Jin is thunking it in. 2 for 1. 2 picked up there with the curtain call. They back away, though. They don't want to risk potential ganks coming in. They're very scared, and they should be, with Killer Queen hovering down by this crab already. But that's a good little fight back for the Buffalo.
And I think we've just imported the second Korean player ever to the VCS. New mid lane and the LCK Fiesta is here.
Oh, now they have to run though, because Killer Queen bearing down. He's going to have a teleport. He boots, he kicks. It's too damn easy here for this Lee Sin. Coded is gifted a nice little meal of karma as well. And Luxury have turned on the gas and they're roasting some Buffalo.
What is going on in this game? It's blow for blow. No one is ever going to stop. But in the end, Luxury is still ahead. 2k gold. Now almost 3k gold. So Luxury, everything is going to plan for Luxury. Sure, they might run into slight damage issues, but they're far enough ahead, I think, for Jace to not really be too scared of the Malphite later on in the mid-game, because he's going to invest into armor penetration. Vid is not the strongest Caitlyn ever, and I hate what I'm seeing right now from him. Why are you building lethality into a Malphite composition? Can you please never do that again? But nevertheless, he's still accelerated slightly, so they should be fine when it comes to the mid-game scaling. And Coated, he has to pull his weight. Last game, we had an amazing performance from the top lane Jace. Coated needs to repeat Hasmed's Game 1 performance.
That he does. And Saigon Buffalo, it's just so difficult to play against this competition, particularly when they aren't able to get vision control. They step a foot out of line, suddenly it's bound, suddenly it's trapped, suddenly it's Killer Queen, who actually has to dance away here from this Rift Herald. Good response here by SGB, denying this objective for now.
The Queen re-aggroing. He wants to keep this one leashed. Now, Luxury is actually scattered and could run away, so Killer Queen's alone over there, but Saigon Buffalo is focused on the dragon instead, which actually makes a lot of sense, because second Herald, not the biggest objective ever, and they are going to get another dragon, so let's look at the Rift. It's Infernal. That's quite nice, especially with the composition that potentially is a little bit lacking in damage. Suddenly, the full tank Malphite can deal a decent amount of damage as well with his burst rotation. Suddenly, the support Karma is the damage threat too, so I really think this is a huge dragon pickup if they ever get to the soul.
Yeah, I completely agree. Mid lane tower under attack. He's actually still alive, just on a tiny little bit of health. They overcommit for it. Coated will go down. The curtains are opened up as well. And look who's here on the backside. It is going to be Froggy taking that free kill onto CBL. Vit and Killer Queen do manage to get away, but they lose 2 for no real reason.
I have a friend who I've played a lot of games with who plays Lux every game in whatever position he's in, mostly support or mid lane, and he hates watching pro games for Lux because they all int, and I think CBL is no exception. Wow, this is not the performance we were hoping for CBL. So far, a very good split, but his Lux is looking like it needs a lot of tidying up to do.
Yeah, a little bit. I can't disagree. But there's still plenty of game left, because with these kills going back, with this passage of play, suddenly we've got ourselves a very even game. There's about 700 gold in it in the favor of Luxury. It should grow a little bit because Blaze is going to get this tower. But there's 2 dragons for the Saigon Buffalo. Who do you think is actually ahead right now?
Exactly. This is the point Quincy was talking about. The next 10-15 minutes is where most games end, and this is definitely where the composition for Saigon Buffalo naturally is stronger. Vit is in a horrible position. There's Hasmid. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's in so much trouble. CBL will be taken down. Vit will be following him to the grave. Killer Queen puts a ward, dashes away. He's just running for his life. And the Buffalo throw another knife.
What is Luxury's bot lane doing? We were praising them so much in the first series, and now they're putting all the bad performances from Winter back in today, and they might just lose the series of their bot lane not performing up to par. Why? You know the teleport is up. This is just really bad communication, really bad summoner tracking from Luxury. The kills, the secure of the kill is so easy for them. Saigon Buffalo has so many jumps. Those squishy champions are nothing to them. And yeah, suddenly Saigon Buffalo with a gold, still deficit actually, but looking at the composition, they are very far ahead right now. The Malphite is on 1.5 items. He is not going to die to the Caitlyn ever. The only one who can damage the Malphite is Coated, and he takes a while. So in team fights, Hasmid can play insanely aggressively, overextend as the front line, and then he has a 5-2 Jhin behind him, who is much more effective at this point in the game than the Caitlyn on the other side.
Look at this, Hasmed. Coated walks in, thinking all high and mighty, and Hasmed just goes, "Oi, mate, nah, I'm on me way. I've got me ult up. It's here. I'm going to give you the rockin'." And he goes over the wall, and Hasmed says, "Get back to Piltover, mate. No one wants you here." And Froggy now coming in on Vit, but does manage to get over the wall. BJ can't find a way in. It is just going to be the isolated 1v1.
Poor Vit is getting bullied in this game. It's not allowed to play the game today. But much more importantly, Hasmid. The first game was amazing. So we already forgot about his first series. He was one of the liabilities. What a bounce back.
Yeah, well, I think he was 1-6 or 1-7 on Trinity. It was an awful game.
Yeah, and what a bounce back performance for Hasmid. He needs to carry his team to another players. They missed in winter. It was one of the biggest disappointments for everyone. Some people, like me, even had this team in first place for regular season. They ended up in 5th, I believe. So huge, monumental disappointment. And they upgraded one position and still ended up worse. So I think the Saigon Buffaloes here, at least, to put a little bit of a better showing in this split.
We hope so. The more horses that are in the race for those top spots, the better the league is. So I want all of these teams to be popping off, showing us what they can do. Luxury certainly did that in Series 1, and SGB is doing it right here. But do not count Luxury out. They are still ahead in gold. They still have a composition that is here to play. And I think we're in for a great game of League of Legends.
Yeah, I think this game is gonna be really spicy soon. And one thing that's really nice for Saigon Buffalo is already having 2 dragons, because now Luxury is in their mid-game hole. We know all the famous sayings about mid-game Caitlyn. And ideally, if the game is even at this point, ideally you would look at the Caitlyn composition already dominating in the dragon stacking, and even if you say, okay, we're 2 dragons ahead, we can wait. Not the case here. They are forced to contest the dragon, at least the 4th dragon, maybe not the 3rd dragon. And at that point, I wonder if Vit will be relevant. Probably not. It's only 5 minutes from now. He just finished his 2nd item. This is a really bad spot to fight in for Vit. And maybe Luxury can just steal this dragon. That would go a long way. I don't think they should fight.
Yeah, at least it is a big 2-item power spike. The Collector, that discussion often comes down to a 2-item or a 3-item power spike. But let's come back to it because BJ just got lasered. In goes Husband. He only actually managed to knock up 1. The Diana surfs on in. Can't actually...
Okay!
The smite will go down. It's Luxury getting everything. They're so low. Luxury out of nowhere. It's all been a hustle, baby, as they're winning this fight. You said Vit's not relevant? I think he is, mate. I think he is. As he's hunting down onto Shogun. Jin, get out of here. No one likes you. The sheriff's in town.
How did this happen? Luxury, I don't understand. Luxury is just playing against the run of play of their own composition, and it's working. I'm not sure why, but Coated, the Jace is the pick today. It's Eastern Jace, it's not Western Jace bullshit. We can actually play the Jace over here, and Coated is putting on a show for us in Game 2. But how did this all transpire? I think Luxury is just playing nicely with the range advantage. Yeah, look at all the poke coming down, and no one is actually able to do anything. BJ dies to Lux at the start, and Hasmid, crucially, only hitting 1 target with his ultimate. It's Baron, it's Dragon for Luxury, and out of nowhere, 5k gold ahead. There's a lot of gold funneled into Vid and into, honestly, everyone on their side. So that mid-game hole is patched up real nicely.
Yeah, we have to wonder if there are any guys that can be dudes. Dig them back out of that one. Because SGB, with a terrible, terrible play there, you hate to see it. If you're an SGB fan, Luxury fans are licking their chops. As you said, they now have this 5k gold lead. Froggy is able to get some pressure onto the tower, Killer Queen, if he goes over aggressive. Never mind, as it's actually going to be Froggy that goes aggressive. They want to get this tower real bad. Killer Queen surfs away, does well.
Look at the pings in the mid lane. They're trying to retaliate with a mid lane push. There's no nice flank ward, unfortunately. There's one. There's one where Lux is right now. I'm not sure if she's clearing the ward. I think she did spot the ward, so no good teleport location to maybe get a flank going for Hasmid. Some accelerated gameplay. That's a teleport invested just for an outer tower. They really want to get rid of all the outer structures to move freely between, especially the dragon area, because, yeah, Luxury really needs to control the next few dragons. They put a damper on Saigon Buffalo's dragon stacking, and now the items are slowly coming in. 3rd item almost completed for Vit. At 4 items, the Caitlyn is online and close to hypercarry mode, so she's not too far away.
We touched on the Collector issue, and I was going to say, and now I wish I had, because I would have looked really smart, I was going to say he might go double pen, and that's another pen item in his inventory. He's going Collector and LDR. I love this build.
I mean, I still think 3rd item IE is better, but let's see what Hasmid can do. He gets a little bit of movement speed. Okay, for now
nothing at all. Killer Queen dances forward. BJ with a dodge, though, doing well. Lee Sin, be careful. There's a big Malphite.
I like the poppy emote, just trolling them there. Nice to see. But let's check in with... Oh, I don't think we have time for that. So let's look at Hasmid. He has Flash and Ult available. There's a huge target on Vit and CBL. If he can Flash Ult on top of them.
But here's Froggy. He's found an angle. In he goes. Everfrost can't stop the rock as he comes in. The shutdown onto Twisted Fate gives them the numbers advantage on the map.
Immediate pings on the top lane. Kota's already pushing, but I think he's a little bit... No, the Lee Sin is there to back him up, so anyone going into top lane alone is under huge pressure. Okay, they put Froggy in the bot lane to get a tower on the other side. Cool map rotations here. The VCS has really gotten much better about map play in the off-season. Even in Winter Split we saw glimpses of it, especially accelerated by Cerberus' good macro play. So it's good to see these upper echelon teams adapting. And even though it's still a fistfight league, and we see 28 kills in 25 minutes, we also see glimpses of very good lane assignments, and that makes me very, very happy. The best of both worlds.
It certainly does. Everyone talks about wanting your minor region to get better, and obviously we do, but we don't want it to get slower. There are other leagues I could watch if that's what I wanted. This is something you only get in the VCS. Even the LPL forever, VCS Senior, has slowed down in recent years, which is terrible. It's a bad region, VCS only valid region.
Yeah, I think it's just because the VCS was isolated for such a long time. No one was able to see the superior gameplay from Vietnam because we weren't able to attend international tournaments. But here we have a catch on Malphite. Maybe not the target you want. He just walks away.
No, I don't think it was. Yeah, he just chills. They tried to use Everfrost on Glacial Malphite.
Look at BJ.
You're freezing something that's already frozen. Ooh, that is a little bit dangerous as damage is going in. Bean J, he's so deep.
Oh, there we go.
He is so deep. Husmed flying into the backline does get a good knock up there. Can they actually kill Vit? They have to. The curtains have been called, but they can't get him down. The last shot's not quite good enough. Jays has already got 2. They answer back with 2 of their own. Husmed soaking up that ace in the hole.
Vit is trying to lifesteal.
Team has a jungler. Shogun just got smacked by another accelerated shock blast. Husmed wandering forward, trying to play big zone, needs to enable Shogun, but Yulwei, it's a Jin. What's he going to do? That's what he's going to do. He's going to one-shot a Caitlyn, get one shot on his way out, though, and now Taki has to run, but you just can't do it. There's no hope. It's a kill. It's a dragon. Luxury slingshotting even further ahead.
And I think this game is really the perfect example of Caitlyn Jay's composition and how they scale. Very strong in the lane phase, not so great at 1 and 1.5 items when they're even, and then really strong once the third item comes in again. Look at the kiting done by Vit here. He gets caught by everything, but he covers so much ground and no one can actually confirm the kill. In the meantime, on the other side, I still haven't really seen what's going on there, but everyone dies so quickly in this game. Shogun really tried his best, but that Q was probably the game decider, or the fight decider at least, because Shogun has to step so far back. He could have poked Killer Queen down if he was full HP still, and he gets another nice kill, but he invested his flash, so I'm not sure if that's worth it, especially with Taki dying afterwards. It's on a nice edge the whole game, but I feel like Luxury has reclaimed control, and dealing with Coated is just so hard, and Vit can't die either.
Yeah, we come back in and there's already another fight starting as Froggy has been tagged up. Rocket Belt's away, but Twisted Fate ultimate is being used.
Husmed. Oh!
Jin shots go across Husmed. The ultimate really doesn't do a huge amount, but it's going to be enough for now to get people low, but they're all going to melt away. The Buffalo have been hunted to extinction, and the last 2 desperately run, but Luxury are hungry, and they're going to take down the wave, push towards the base.
Yeah, is this already the final push? They do have Lichbane Blazes and level 15 Caitlyn with Lux, with decent damage as well. They might try to end the game here. 18 seconds on B&J. Husmed isn't there. He doesn't have ultimate either. Yeah, I think they're trying to put in the game and get to game 3 already. Shogun can't really do much.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. Just break the neck. Don't take any unnecessary risks. They whip across all the damage, but it doesn't matter because what matters is the health on the Nexus, and it is at 0. They take game 2. We are going the distance here in Luxury, taking on SGB, and so far, this has been such a fun series. I'm so glad we're getting a third.
And now it becomes so dicey for both teams, but especially for SGB. They already lost a 1-2 series to Flash, probably a relatively close competitor. They can't afford to lose another one in week 1. So this game, I'd say the next game, already much more important for Saigon Buffalo. And what a chance for Luxury to end the week 2-0 after falling behind so much in this series. Well, we're here with a banger we're going to end this week. I'm already so excited for the next one.
Don't go anywhere. That next one will be in about 5 minutes with our analyst desk. We'll see you then. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, folks. Game 2 done and dusted. Game 3 awaiting us. Only our second 3-game series of the entire week as well. Saigon Buffalo and Luxury Esports perfectly tied. Quincy Rebel, to be honest, there's only one thing I really want to say heading into this. Just ban Killer Queen's Lee Sin.
Right, Milky. What do you need your analysts for then? I think you just wrapped up the segment completely on your own. I mean, that's just what we have to say, right? I mean, Killer Queen's Lee Sin just has Sonic Wave as a targeted ability. It's absolutely unfair for the enemy team. I said initially Luxury need to get ahead early. They kind of did, then didn't, and then did again, and said they will win. And I guess Saigon Buffalo just loves to play 3-game series because that one was on them.
They've gone 2 in a row basically without without knocking it pretty much at all. And both of them, they won the first game, and now we're in game 3. We saw how it went last time against Team Flash. We'll see whether they're able to bring it back against Luxury. I had high hopes for the engage, and in the beginning of the game, it actually looked okay. That first dragon was really the point where everything kind of broke apart to me. Like, they were so close to being able to take this game to significant portions, especially because they did start putting some resource into Froggy, and the combination of that Diana, like, and that Malphite together really could have been a massive pool for them in a number of situations. They just could never really get enough damage between those two to put enough into the backline for it to matter, because the rest of the game they were still competitive. They still had moments where they're able to make engages work, but like once that fight around the dragon had really gone over and they gave away the third dragon, they couldn't get the stacking to keep going, and they gave away that much gold in the first Baron, the game was basically over from that point. It was just about how quickly Luxury was able to finish things out.
Now, not only is this the last game of the series, not only is it the last game of the day, it's the last game of the week. And while I know you guys have been using your brains a lot over the past few days, you've got a long break until the next set of VCS games. So I want to extract everything from your heads right now, like a horror movie. And I want to know what Saigon Buffalo need to do differently if they are to take this series. Rebel, I'll throw to you first.
What do they need to do if they go on to win this series? Well, first things first, they need to find a way to remove Vit from the equation, because Vit's been amazing, basically in every single game that Luxury has played so far. It doesn't really matter. Number 2, they need to find a way to, I think, even just be competitive inside of the jungle position. Game 1, they didn't really shut out Killer Queen, despite the fact that he was on Lee Sin. But at minimum, what they had from BJ was a lot of action himself. He was able to accomplish quite a bit. The top lane matchup has kind of gone back and forth. That's going to be okay. Mid lane, I think, is going to go back and forth no matter what the situation. So to me, it's about kind of leveraging the 2 really strong points that have been there for Luxury all split.
I would say the same things, basically. I mean, we addressed Killer Queen and the banning of the Lee Sin, which is one important thing. And just give Shogun and Taki a lane that is at least not losing on paper already, because they are up to the task skill-wise, for sure. I mean, we have seen them in the Jin Karma lane. I think they got also 1 2v2 kill against the Caitlyn Lux lane, which should never happen, which is more expected to go the other way around. So I would like to see either Zeri, which is of course already banned away, and if Zeri is taken out, just maybe get Jinx Aphelios traded against each other, or just get Jinx against the Caitlyn, something like this, something where you are not on the back foot already based on that alone. And I think if they are even in this regard, I think Shogun and Taki can definitely skill check the other bot lane, because they are definitely talented in their own right. And I think this is one matchup where, of course, Saigon Buffalo can strike again.
We've got a few bans already coming through. Luxury Esports making sure that they don't make the same mistake as what they did in Game 1, which is leaving the Zeri open for Shogun. And Saigon Buffalo, they're actually respecting that Twisted Fate pick that Blades had, and of course Twisted Fate very high in prominence right now, and that's not just in the VCS, because it provides so much, especially with the teleport changes that have come through. Luxury, though, they complete their bans, taking the Veigar away from Froggy Rebel.
Yeah, even more crazy though is just this immediate Thresh pick. This was something that like day 1, or I think, yeah, day 1 that Saigon had actually showed up, they were banning this in first rotation as much as possible to get it away from Team Flash, and it really hasn't popped up for them, even though I think Taki's a really good Thresh player altogether, and they just go for it immediately. They shut out the potential of like the Jinx Thresh, the Aphelios Thresh, anything like that, so now you're going to be coming up with a different equation. But Luxury, they do get the Lee Sin because of it, so it's a cost-benefit analysis of what is the Thresh going to apply for you that it hasn't in other previous games. Like, it's got to be something big for Taki here, because they spent so much draft capital securing it.
They definitely did, and now I really want to see the Jinx. I mean, you really need to abuse the fact that you got the Thresh now. Phalos is already taken off the picture, so Jinx would be the go-to option here. You kind of have to pick it now, and they actually do, which of course means for you, you get likely bot lane priority going for you, but you traded the Sin away for Killer Queen, which is of course very detrimental to what Luxury wants to do. So now you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan how to really deal against this Lee Sin from the side of Killer Queen, and I really wonder what BJ is up his sleeve. We could maybe see the Viego again, and I think the pick in itself is fine. Just don't go Sterak second again, which is something actually both junglers did, despite Killer Queen playing mechanically well. The item just isn't good anymore as a second item. You only get additional scaling onto your base AD. It doesn't have AD on its own anymore. Items like Death Stance exist, so please go those. And Vex is of course something we have seen before White Froggy, and is also a champion that works well with the reset, and you already have Jinx on your team, so Reset City is maybe on the way for you.
I'm getting very excited. There's like a champion that's been rattling in the back of my brain, which is like the Hecarim pick, which has been powerful in a number of different places. It's got like the tank build, it's got the AD build. You kind of do a little bit of both. And it was like a champion that was right there with the Udyr in terms of prevalence when BJ was kind of at like the height of his ability, right? And I'm really shocked we haven't seen him go back to it even a single time, because he was very good at the Hecarim. It feels to me like that is a pick that can outpace what the Lee Sin does in the early game, and its team fighting is incredibly powerful. And it's, again, you can even build it just basically full tank. You go for the chem tank, you put a Fimbulwinter alongside it, whatever you want to do actually doesn't really matter. That to me actually fits into this composition really well. You have a dive buddy alongside the Vex to be able to throw into the backline, and then of course you can put your Jinx anywhere you want inside of a fight. You throw the rocket, she gets excited. Worst case scenario, you got to drag her in with the Thresh. But one way or another, you're getting that fight to go your way.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I'm very scared of the Janna, however, because Janna would be Janna's my top lane. And that is something I really do not want to see in this VCS with these exciting top laners playing. And now I wonder really what Saigon Buffalo finishes it out, because I feel there's Ludo also scary in their own right. If they get like fresh, they die pretty quickly, I dare say. But if not, I mean, they kind of can contest the priority that comes out of the rocket launcher on the side of Jinx. They don't need to spend as much mana at the Jinx, I think so. And Hecarim, of course, is another topic. I have seen an LEC played by Gilius yesterday. Hecarim currently has this item build where he goes like more mana, the Turbo Chem Tank, and otherwise tanky items. And he gets surprisingly tanky, but still deals enough damage to really threaten the AD carry. And that is a build I want to see in this game for BJ. And considering how BJ has performed, Hecarim not that hard of a champion in general, might just be a good fit for him to just have an easy engage, pair it together with the Vex, get like one early kill in the fight, and get Reset City going, because that is what Saigon Buffalo needs in this game.
Now, I am back, and I'm quite liking the draft that Saigon Buffalo have pulled out, but it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Rebel, but a lot of this, once we get to the team fighting part of the game, relies on Froggy being able to find the right shadow surges, and being able to find the right targets with those shadow surges. And if he can, Saigon Buffalo can hands down win the game. If he can't, well, things might get a little bit more tricky.
That if they're trying to snowball through just pure team fighting, I don't think that's a completely inept like kind of analysis of what's going to happen. Although there's different ways to challenge in the background, right? When you've got Jace with the Shock Blast and the Empowered Shock Blast, when you've got a Hecarim to be able to dive in as well, there's plenty of options to be able to set up the Vex rather than the Vex having to set up the rest of the team. So I think there's multiple ways to approach what the team fight looks like from Saigon. To me, this is the most complete draft that they've had all day. The one real fear for me actually is this coded Aurelia. This is the one thing that can kind of throw an entire curveball into everything, because you get a little bit of counter engage going with the Aurelia, especially if Cody gets going and things get a little bit dicey.
Okay, well, we're about to head into game. I want one-word answers from both of you. Nothing more, just one word. Buffalo or Luxury? Quincy, go first.
Luxury.
Rebel?
Buffalo.
I love it. That's what I like to hear. Something else I'd love to hear, and more than one word, would be from our wonderful casters as well. I'd say Carrix, I'd say Yulway, but that sounds a bit boring. I'm definitely going to ship that one. Lads, take it away.
I'm kind of glad that he lagged out there for a second. I don't want to know what he was going to say. I don't know.
The mystery. That's never going to be uncovered. It's such perfect timing for DC.
Something terrible. But your way, are you getting some memories triggered with this BJ Hecarim? Because I remember when BJ first came in, it was the Udia Hecarim meta, and boy oh boy was he good at the horse.
Didn't he play it on Friday as well?
I wasn't casting, so I don't know.
I think so. I think BJ actually played the Hecarim game and he looked quite good, and we actually made the exact same recollection. Was it yesterday even? I don't quite remember. First series of Sagan Buffalo against Flash, I believe Friday. But the Hecarim coming back, and yeah, BJ was really good in this horse meta, so let's see if he can do it again. He didn't go for the Muramana build, instead he went full tank. I want to see the Muramana. But then again, there is a lot of damage in the enemy team, so maybe full tank is the better way to go. Exciting.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Hecarim necessarily needs to add damage, is the thing. They've already got a Jinx, a Jace, and a Vex to do that. Over on the other side, Lulu Aphelios. Once again, Vit being enabled in this team. I like to see it. So far, he's been a huge improvement over last split, where he was a bit of a liability. He's now come in. He's been a big part of this one. Blazers as well on Syndra. Is certainly no slouch. How do you think these teams want to approach this game? As apparently there must have been an issue in the client or something, because we are just hanging out on the loading screen.
Hey. I think Blazers Syndra is quite interesting. I think he was a very good Syndra player. When I think back, Blazers, even in the splits, he didn't look super amazing. Syndra was always one of his standout picks. So I think this should definitely give them priority. I'm not very familiar with the matchup, but just thinking about the two champions, there's not really anything Vex can counterplay. Syndra doesn't have dashes or anything, so apart from Vex finding an all-in, it's not the natural counter pick like it is against LeBlanc. So I'd say Syndra probably with a little bit of an advantage there. We're going to see and learn if that's true. But yeah, I feel like all of these lanes are very, very strong from Luxury side. And coated Irelia into Jace. Now this is the other side of the counter matchup you can go for. Last game we saw the other approach, which is tank teamfight outscale, engage outscale, Malphite. Now we're taking we are going to kill you in lane. And Killer Queen already went to top lane all the time last game. So I expect him to just sit there, put up the tent emoji and kill Hasmid over and over again. Or maybe feed kills over to Hasmid over and over again like in game 1. So I think make or break is the top lane once again.
And finally, we have Summoner's Rift. We head on in to the final game of the first week of the VCS Spring 2022. And what a week it has been. Upsets and stomps, close games. We've had it all.
Yeah, I think spring already looks more competitive than winter.
Hello. Cheese is here, but it's been spotted.
Kota just sprinting away, and fortunately he's a very fast champion, so you can just use his base movement speed of something in between 335 and 350. It's one of those champions that has way too much of base movement speed. Irelia should be fine. Irelia Jace is always a matchup worth looking at. Honestly, the whole time we could just have the camera in top lane for the whole game, because some weird things can happen in all Jace matchups, especially against melee carries. Both sides can win. If Jace plays it perfectly, then Irelia is gonna get pushed out of the wave, never gets on top of Jace. We saw 2 kills and level 1 Broken Blade against Adam over in LEC. Adam on Irelia really falling prey to the level 1 of Jace. And the same setup is here for Hasmid with the Summoner spell. He went for Conqueror, so this means long trades are definitely possible for him. You can see he wins the first engagement. But yeah, this is just a super spicy matchup, and the longer it goes, usually the more favored it is for Irelia, especially if she's able to stack up her passive and then use her ultimate to lock the Jace down. So both top laners have gotten an MVP. One of the two has to decide the series.
What are you, moving away from the top side, even though it is still on our screen, what do you think of the decision to bring in High? Or H3, rather. Oh, never mind. We'll have to come back to it as Froggy's decided to flash forward. He's ignited Blazers, and he is getting the party started, but he can't get the kill.
And I think we just forgot about Froggy Vex, because Froggy Vex was amazing when he played it in the first series against...
Tonic. so valuable there, by the way.
Yeah, he smashed Yoshino. I think back to the series, Yoshino played in Game 3, he played Galio, and he got smacked around by Froggy. Good disengage from Blazes, nicely done, Scatter the Weak. BJ is not able to close the gap on Blazes. 2 flashes blown in mid lane, so this means both of these squishy champions are vulnerable and attackable from either side.
Yeah, the junglers have blood in their eyes as they look at those 2 fairly immobile mid laners, both without that flash. Sure, we'll see plenty of visits from both BJ and Killer Queen as this one continues on. Lee Sin as on demand. Froggy in some trouble. He's just got to try and get a counter kill here, but Blazers playing it well, playing respectfully, gets on out, and that is first blood for the Killer Queen.
And Carrix, remind me what did our analyst segment start with? What advice were the analysts giving to the side of Saigon Buffalo?
I'm going to be honest, I went to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
As BJ comes on in, they're going to try and trade it here. They've roamed the bot lane up. This is a very, very well done thing. Froggy comes in, denies any chance of an execute, and Saigon Buffalo get 2 kills back.
Shogun, you can't do that to Froggy. Oh man, Shogun just stealing away the kill.
Shogun had to roam. I think it's good. I get that, yeah, okay, he sold him out, but I actually do think it's the better result.
Well, the gank is super straightforward, so not much to say here. The analyst said, or Milky in particular said, ban away Lee Sin from Killer Queen, but maybe not necessary, as BJ with a nice counter gank in Taki flash hook. This is what we expect of Taki. And of course, the second kill is just a little bit of added insult to injury to the side of Luxury. But come on, Shogun, come on.
I'm pretty sure Froggy cancelled an auto. Maybe. I think that was very intentional. They gave it to Shogun. All jokes aside, I do think giving it to Shogun was important. He roamed.
Oh,
while
what
Froggy
is
was
going
just walking
on?
back lane. Up on the top side, we have another fight as Husband and Coda going at it. Husband, he's got to go back through Coda. It's a fully stacked Irelia passive. He has that W up.
Oh, good
the
dodge.
lightning is out. He can't hit the flawless duet, though. It is in fact flawed, but it doesn't matter because Irelia is a balanced champion that should definitely exist.
Irelia gets the kill here, and this is a huge start. Finally, someone able to shut down the Jace. Now, Jace was solo killed in game 2 as well, but not in a 1v1 in the lane this early.
Also,
so
there was a second kill.
Yeah, Froggy died to
got
Killer Queen again. Super easy setup, not much to talk about. Good synergy. Lee Sin and Syndra is one of the strongest 2v2s in possible. We saw a lot of it in Worlds 2018. IG comes to mind with amazing Syndra and Lee Sin performances. But yeah, here we go again. And now Luxury in a really good position in both solo lanes. We wanted to talk about H3, who's in this game, and you mentioned him once, and then action all across the board.
We didn't have time.
Yeah, so let's spend a few seconds. I think it's just because he's the better Enchanter player. CBL, really not known for his Enchanters. His Lux was bad. So I think this is just H3 being a little bit more comfortable, and also this duo being a little bit more, having a little bit more synergy between the two of them because they played a whole split together. Okay, how? Thresh is an interesting champion. But yeah, that's, I think, the reasoning behind H3 being subbed in for this particular game.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It was worth briefly discussing, though. The action does appear to have stopped for now. As let's have a look at this 1v1. How did they even get into that situation in the first place?
I like how Coated missed 2 E's and still won the fight. Aurelia, very skillful champion.
Coated hasn't hit an ability.
He gets to level 5 first, which is the huge advantage here. Both have stacked Conquerors, as you can see, and Hasmet realizes he's going to get to level 5 and is actually in a stronger position. And I thought he was going to win, but then Coated with the Q resets.
He autoed a minion.
Oh, he autoed a minion.
He switched the empowered auto from switching into cannon mode, hit a minion. He kills him if that lands on the Aurelia.
Oh, so I read the situation correctly.
Yeah, it's just a mechanical misplay there from Husband. It's just a mistake.
You know what it is? Not using targets champions only.
Hello. There was a kill in the mid lane. How are we meant to catch everything?
We're not
What are we
allowed
meant to do?
to actually see the mid lane ganks because they're so quick, and both of these mid laners are so exposed that they just die in a matter of seconds. So, 2 deaths on either side. These are just the farming places for the junglers now. Both of the junglers very happy to just visit the mid lanes, get a quick kill, and then move back into the jungle. As Hasmid, yes, he's level 6, but Killer Queen is 2, and of course he hits the Q.
Of course he does, Killer Queen. He's got homing Qs as he forces Hasmed right away, and this will only get coded further and further ahead.
Look how sad Hasmid's damage is. He went here, reduction first item, Executioner's Calling. He still lost the 1v1, even though that's the only reason you want to go for this item. As we have another mid lane gank. This time Blazes walks away using his flash, so he's gonna die in the next few minutes. But the top lane is a huge issue for the side of Saigon Buffalo.
Away. There's a trap. There's a trap. He lacks critical information, but lacking in the bot lane is health. As Shogun has picked up a counter kill, is trying to get excited, bearing down on H3, but he doesn't angle the chompers well enough. And the Lulu will be able to get away with a shield. The trap wasn't sprung on the top side either, so BJ is safe.
Unfortunately, H3 was not level 6. This could have been a double kill for the side of Vid. If Lulu has ultimate, they easily kite out Shogun and kill him as well, or at least force his flash. But this way, Shogun could just stand there, use his auto attacks, and the initial kill went over to Vid, but they just don't have the staying power, even though the weapons are great. But look at this situation. If H3 is level 6 and has his ultimate, that's such an easy 2v2. Great flash as well from Vid, but so much damage from the both of the Saigon Buffalo's bot lanes. That's... wow. He flashed 2 crucial abilities and still... oh, never mind, no time for me.
Yeah, in the replay, we actually saw Hasmed going down, was taken out by a gank, and now it is the counter as Froggy moves up on the top side, has the Shadow Surge reset. I'm sure he's going to go in. There it is. He throws out the Shadow once again. BJ doing a good job. Will actually clean up the kill. Do they want to go back under? I don't think so. That would be crazy. So in the end, it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of the Buffalo.
Already at 12 kills at 9 minutes. This game is just going at the blistering pace. Gum, you need to be prepared for these two teams because, yeah, you might be the team in the VCS right now slowing down the games with very low kill scores, but these two teams are not here to follow. Just constant action all across the board. What is done from Blazes to start of the fight. Beautifully done. Just an easy kill for Coated, but then the punish comes in. Taki heat-seeking hooks this time around, and Killer Queen gets punished by the other targeted ability.
Yeah, this was a really well-timed roam up here, and now Froggy on this Vex is in a great position. Froggy has been awesome on this champion as well. It's something that he's been utilizing extremely well. With these early kills, we may well be in for a frog champ time.
And also take a look at BJ's inventory, just completely ignoring the current meta, not tank, not Muramana either, it's back to Sundra, which means much more damage on the initial impact, maybe a little bit less staying power, but with how fast these fights are going, here we go again.
Well done, Froggy cancels the resonating strike, the rocket comes in as well, perfect play.
Saigon Buffalo is so much better than they were in winter. The coordination between mid and jungle is back. BJ has put on his monitor again, hopefully, because he looks so much better. It's just, he's in the right places at the right time. This was our main criticism for him when he was down at the bottom 2 junglers, honestly, in the winter split. Nowhere close to that right now. He's definitely not the best jungler. I think Killer Queen is still outperforming him overall over the course of the week. But he's competitive again. That's the biggest thing. The biggest issue that Saigon Buffalo had to fix coming into this spring split. And I think this is a very good start.
I agree. I 100% agree. I'd love to see BJ reclaiming his former throne. We need our junglers to stick around. Wait, what? No, no, not again. Oh, we did see this actually. This was
just a
Froggy
replay
with an excellent cancel. I was worried that there was a whole nother kill that we missed.
Killer Queen showing some twitchiness. They are flashing into the rocket. Could have flashed the other way. Was probably dead either way. It was really good counterplay from Froggy. And I think the Vex might actually be the better answer instead of banning away Killer Queen's Lee Sin. Vex is so good at handling Lee Sin, as we can see. She can cancel his jump, and then he's kind of lost. He's not the most tanky of champions on the Rift, and if you cancel his Q jump, he only has a W to get away. So this Vex seems to be a crucial part of the puzzle to solve Killer Queen's domination in the jungle.
Well, it has been banned quite a bit as Taki. Hex flashes over the wall, throws out the hook, and now Vit's in some trouble. That was a wild Moonlight Vigil.
Oh,
It's meant to say, like, for now. But there it is. The Ignite will deal that last tick of damage, and out of nowhere, Vit dies.
Well, Vit tried to dance with Taki, but Taki's hands, they are mighty good. Very nicely done on the skill shots now. And Saigon Buffalo dominating, running away with this game. This is going to be first tower funneled into Shogun and BJ. Probably the two players he wanted the gold on the most. So perfect execution. They're actually all the gold going over to Shogun. So Shogun now in an insanely strong position. Taki actually coming from the other side. I didn't catch that. Okay, Hex flashing over the wall. Yeah, and I think Vit saw the tower shot and got overexcited. He thought, oh, this stupid support tried to tower dive me. I'm going to stun him on the tower and get the free kill. But then, yeah, Taki gets out of range.
It's interesting. I'm not sure Vit had any time to do anything. He didn't have flash up during that play. He missed the Moonlight Vigil. I think maybe he gets a counter kill if that hits. But I just think that was... I don't think it matters what ADC is on the other side of that play. It was just really good from Taki. As Irelia whips out the ultimate. This time she's hitting abilities, but it doesn't matter because in comes Taki. And there's another one from Taki as he flays him back. Lovely stuff, but it doesn't matter because Luxury's going to bring in the cavalry. They boot Shogun back. He will eventually... Oh, don't let him get a kill. That would be a disaster. Don't do it. Irelia picks up the shutdown. Well reinforced by Luxury.
And Shogun is a very bad ADC. Not a single crit there on Killer Queen. There could have been a kill if one of the auto attacks crit. I think he gets the kill on Killer Queen. Instead, it's 2 kills back for Luxury. Saigon Buffalo overextend. Shogun, all the gold is on him, so naturally you want him to be the strong point of the map. But it's still Irelia against Jinx, and they kind of... it's an That looked so weird. It's an oversight on their part. They thought, okay, we have all the gold on the top lane, but it's still a champion mismatch. And let's take another look at this. No crit here, no crit here, no crit... I feel for you, Shogun. I feel for you. Could have been a counter kill. Regardless, it's a bad read for Saigon Buffalo, and way back into the game for Luxury.
Very unfortunate. And now, Shogun and Taki up on this top side. They want to potentially push in for more structure damage. This is a very fed Jinx. It's already got that Kraken Slayer and the Zeal. Compared to just the Gale Force and a longsword of the Aphelios. It's been a scrappy game your way.
Oh yeah, I think all the games between Luxury and
once again
Saigon Buffalo have. We only had 1 kill per minute, so a little bit less. Oh, never mind.
Oh. The rocket will not connect. Unfortunate there. It was a long-range, hopeful shot, but it is going to be towers traded, bot lane taken down in the favor of Luxury, top lane taken down in the favor of Saigon Buffalo. So this roughly 3k gold lead will maintain.
And I really have to stress again, all the gold is into Shogun. Yeah, he only has 2 kills, and some of the other members have 3 kills, but he got 2 full towers worth of gold, so he needs to be the main carry, and he kind of mispositioned in the last instance. Oh, there's another tower funneled into him, so this Jinx is insanely far ahead, but she has to deal with so many threats on the other side, so this needs to be a pristine performance from Shogun, and this is really a test of his character and his strength as one of the newer ADCs in this league.
For sure. Luxury evening up the Dragons as they claim the Infernal. We head over to a Mountain Rift. On the other side of the map, BJ has started off this second Rift Herald, so objectives traded. And with how many towers have gone into this Jinx, she's already completed a rapid fire cannon. This is getting a little bit worrying. If Shogun can hold his nerve, if Shogun can prove that he can run with the best, SGB are in a lovely spot in this game.
Okay, so the rapid fire cannon, there's a lot of diversity for the attack speed item, second for Jinx. She can go literally for every single item, I believe, as Coated is under a lot of pressure. Can Taki land the initial CC? Of course he can.
He certainly can. I don't think Coded's got a chance out of this one, as a rocket is just sent along to say g'day. Doesn't get anything done, but BJ will get himself a kill. So the rest of Luxury look like they want to collapse, but I don't really think it's a very wise decision. I think they'll agree with me as they all just back off. A kill picked up for SGB.
Yeah, and Luxury didn't accomplish anything on the map. They were lost in rotation, consigned Coated to his fate, to his death in the top lane. Didn't really try to fight back either. Froggy now, he has such a good disengage. This is so cool to see. SGB just giving Killer Queen his insane Lee Sin and saying, well, play Lee Sin into Froggy's Vex. And so far, I think Froggy is getting the better of him. Even though the performance of Killer Queen in terms of skill shot accuracy, in terms of where he has to be on the map, is still very, very good.
It's
Good
very
flash.
true. Ooh, Taki flashing away, but the Shadow Surge lands. He immediately goes in. The
BJ.
wild growth is used. It's going to deny the reset. Shutdown goes over to the Syndra. It is traded 1-for-1 into the backside. Does go BJ with the ultimate. He's got 3 to deal with. As Coded
Way
is
too
distracting the rest of the team. This is a bit of a disaster here. It's a 2-for-2, but there was a big shutdown on
Boom.
Froggy's head. Rocket will get nothing done. Luxury will be happy with that.
BJ, way too deep. Why did you dive in there? There was no need. He tried to accomplish too much. Okay.
Ooh, Vitz, he's dead. Oh no, that changes everything.
That's a huge pickup. And Killer Queen just told his bot lane, yeah, you defend the tower, I get a few kills, but then his bot lane lets him down again. Blazes, whoa, we're in complete chaos, but the skill shots.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Oh, it's just individual outperformances there. Too much class from SGB, and they are landing all the skill shots. Taki, once again, with the cute sidesteps, and then the Q to shut down Blazes on the other side of the fight. Look at Shogun, no mana, so he can't really contribute. He gets the blue buff. That's so crucial for him. Getting the blue buff on the first kill means he can continue the fight with the Rockets. We don't talk about BJ, he's inting. But on the other side, Coated, well, it's a team fight Aurelia from not so far ahead, so he can't really do too much. And in the end, Vid getting caught here once again by the Zap. I can understand I'm really bad at dodging Zap as well, but you should dodge this spell. That's a free kill for Shogun. That is too much going Saigon Buffalo's way. Oh, we actually get to see this beautiful hook from Taki. Perfect positioning as well against Blaze's teleport. They didn't even have vision of the teleport, I believe, but Taki's here, and Taki lands every single Q. Prediction, utterly perfect. No time for Blazes to react. That's a teleport wasted. I think there was another kill right now in the replay going Saigon Buffalo's way, and they are on Baron.
That they are. Shadow Surge is thrown out. It doesn't connect though, so Froggy doesn't have access to that explosive reset potential, but he does once again cancel Killer Queen's engage. They trade it 1-for-1, but you'll take that every day of the week. Taki's worth a lot less than the jungler, particularly because Coded's dead as well. I'm not sure what happened there. It's now a 3v4 around the Baron. It should be smarted away momentarily. There it is. Well done. A double fear out of Froggy. This man is the absolute MVP so far. Oh, that looked a bit funny as BJ got polymorphed as he charged on forward, but it doesn't matter because he will still cut down the Syndra. High has to flash away, but it's only a matter of time before BJ hunts him down, and Saigon Buffalo are catapulting ahead.
I was just going to delay the death timer to the Dragon Spawn, so perfect chaining of objectives. Hi, you can't get away from here. I'm sorry. Maybe not. Actually, maybe giving up the dragon here. They still have a little bit of time, but more importantly, this Baron really opened up the whole game. Very nice dodge from Haspit again against the flawless duet, and then Froggy is everywhere. This is why Froggy was once praised as the second best mid laner. Yeah, he had some really bad individual games, but his ability to read the map and be in the right position, and his ability to team fight generally, is outstanding. He's a very good player, maybe not a very good mid laner, but he's a very good player. I'm going to die on that hill. I'm willing to die on that hill, hopefully not going to die on that hill. But yeah, look at him again. Perfect time to flash in. And on the other side, I have to say, Luxury, this was lazy. Your jungler is dead, walk away from the Baron, set up the dragon, there's no need for you to overstay and give 3 more kills over, because now the game is over because of that.
Yeah, that's a real huge mistake. As you said, Saigon Buffalo just in full control now. 7,000 gold, Baron buff online. They're not bearing down on any Dragon Soul, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're so far ahead now. It's almost a 10k gold lead, and once again, look at all the items coming in. We have another Jinx in the VCS going for the Storm Razor. So this is something we need to keep track of. I haven't seen that many Storm Razors in other leagues. People have told me they've been built, but more in the VCS than anywhere else, and this is because the fights are so explosive. If coated, needs to be super careful.
BJ has to play it safe as well. Doesn't want to give this a 1-for-1. They both have managed to dodge away from the flawless duet. Well done there, and Coded is shut down.
Coded is really trying to put pressure into the side lane, but the rest of his team is just not there to back him up and apply pressure to other places. So in the end, he just gifts over gold.
BJ also did get caught out. We didn't catch this one.
People are just dying all the time in replay, so we're very sorry, but we are getting the footage of the kills. Maybe not on time, maybe not live, but we're getting there. 31 kills.
To be fair to the observers, it's 31 kills in 23 minutes. It's a bloodbath, and it's going to be a 30-second as down goes Froggy.
But this is the difference between the two teams and their map position. When Coated dies in the side lane, nothing happens on the other side. When Froggy dies in the side lane, his team is picking up inhibitors. Or at least inhibitor towers. So, yeah, this is what split pushing is all about. You can die, at least, if your team is able to punish on the other side. It's not too bad to die. But now they need to be careful. Killer Queen is here. Q, of course, lands. He's Killer Queen.
Yeah, it does only land onto Taki, though. Can't actually find a way onto someone like Shogun, someone like Huzmed that he could actually boot back and get a kill. So SGB should be able to evacuate, no worries.
Do we have a TP on SGB side? Sadly not. I would have really liked to see someone TP into bot lane and apply pressure there. They don't have the TP. They want to continue the fight because the bot lane is winning for them. Let's see what they can do. Look at the Aurelia. Huge flank coming in from Coated.
Yeah, Coded has the potential to turn this whole game around as Killer Queen moves forward. Has to flash away immediately, though. He's chunked down to half, but in comes Irelia. The Moonlight Vigil lands onto nothing, and now Hecarim turns it around and cleans up Vit. Coded's a distraction, but nothing more, as that flank of this four does manage to fall down. Blazers will be following them into the grave. It's a triple kill picked up for Shogun, and he is ruling these rifts as he charges forward. Buffalo, I think, have done it. I think they've just won this game your way.
Oh, I agree with you. Froggy is kicking and screaming. He wants to get into this fight somehow. He was sprinting down the mid lane, trying to get close, but then his team just won without him, and now the game's over. 25 minutes. Saigon Buffalo finally win a game against the top 4, I guess, team of the winter season. They are here to contest for players. This time around, they are not going to go down with a whimper.
No, they are not. They are here to fight. They are here to win. Both of these teams now 1-1 here in spring. Both of the series from Saigon Buffalo have been nail biters. They have been back and forth. They have been bangers. So I'm so keen to see what this team can do for the rest of this season. And I'm so keen to hear what our analyst desk has to say about them. Milky, Rebel, Crincy, take it away.
Well, hopefully my internet is working and you guys can hear me and it's not chopping like crazy. Speaking of chopping though, Saigon Buffalo were chopping up a luxury in that game. And that combination of the Hecarim along with the Froggy on the Vex Rebel was beautiful to watch.
Can I just say this outright? I talked about a little bit in the draft just how good Hecarim has been for BJ in the past. It's been about 300 days since spring 2021 when they really had that run and they went into second place. You know how many times he's played Hecarim since then in the last 300 days of competition? Once. He played it one time, and it was one of his better performances in winter. Put him on this champion more. Please put BJ on Hecarim more often, man. He ran the earlier stage of the game. He was team fighting far more effectively. Yes, he had the one kind of dive that went really awry, but outside of that, he looks like a completely different player when he's on comfort.
Absolutely, and it was, well, good enough to beat Killer Queen's Lee Sin and have more of an impact than the Lee Sin as well, Quincy.
Definitely so. And Killer Queen, mechanically, he was still like fine, but I just think the decision making wasn't really on point for Luxury this game. They tried to play out the top lane, which of course made sense because the Aurelia was absolutely smashing the Jace to some extent. But I mean, also Coated, like being weak side like this, he still put on the right amount of pressure because when he died, as the casters just addressed, then Saga Buffalo was just taking turrets. When someone from the side of Luxury was dying, then nothing really happens. And that way, Saga Buffalo just a better macro team in the third game. Really well-deserved win for them. And it's the first win for them in the split. And if they had lost that game, they would have felt really bad, right? Because then they would have started 0-2 with not even the strongest strength of schedule at the start. And that would really be a tilt. I mean, losing against Flash and Luxury, you know you would also play Cerberus and Garm later on, would be a very bad look for a team that aspires to be one of the top dogs in the league.
And I don't know, it felt like we got 3 really close games. Well, 2 close games. Either way, it was a good series, and I think it's quite exciting as well to see what both of the teams can do heading into the next series. And I asked a question after the BTS SBTC series, so I'll ask the same question again here. Saigon Buffalo, their next game, I'm just double checking this on the schedule. They are playing against Team Secret. Luxury's next game is against SBTC. So I'd like to get both of your thoughts on how their upcoming games will go. Rebel, I'll go to you first on this one.
I think at this point, I'm far less interested in what records are going to look like because at this point, I think we have a legitimate competition that's like every single team that currently sits below GEM is potentially competing for second place. And that's dependent on whether or not Cerberus is actually a second best team. Because if Cerberus is as low as the rest of these teams and ends up losing some games as well, we don't know where the split's going to go. Maybe SPTC is just like the worst team. And other than that, that's pretty much all we have to go on. Because right now, with the wins that have been traded between teams, I think it's really tough to say. Yes, GEM might have a little bit of a runaway right now with just how well they were able to perform up against Cerberus. But if the rest of the teams are as close as we've had a chance to see, this might actually be the most exciting VCS split we've ever had.
Quincy, would you echo those thoughts?
I'm thinking that Team Secret's actually a tough matchup for Sagan Buffalo because Team Secret has just stepped up a little bit with the roster changes they had. We saw them against SPTC. Of course, it was just SPTC, but they have looked clean in this wins, I would say. So I think that is actually a very exciting series to watch at the end of next week. For the side of Luxury, I mean, they play SPTC on that same day beforehand. Maybe that would be like the warm-up series for the other series where we can see Luxury maybe like having some troubleshooting just after having not the most satisfying series just now, just getting a somewhat more comfortable, maybe somewhat more easy win for them.
Right, well, that is pretty much all that we do have time for. 2 banging series, one of which we're going to 3 games. However, we will be back next week. GAM taking on Team Secret and then Cerberus taking on Team Flash on Friday evening. Again, sterling job from our wonderful casters of Carrix Yulway. And, well, Quincy Rebel, thank you very much for being on the analyst desk alongside me. Thank you for being the punching bag to some of my jokes and for being wonderful sports throughout the broadcast. And, of course, covering me when my internet has dropped. But to all of our wonderful viewers watching, stay tilt-proof on the Rift, and we'll see you on Friday. Goodbye.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you.